Hey. All right, I will let you guys start to load up as I finish up on something I was working on. I said I was going to go live between 11 and 11:30. That was my declaration, so I wanted to make sure that I'm honoring that. But I'm allowing you guys to come in. Okay, here we go. Allowing you guys to come in. Do me a favor as you start coming in, leave me some comments to let me know that you are here. And I'm going to put this, I'm put it at the bottom. Leave me comments. I'm just hitting save on this website real quick. And then I'm going to come and I'll be able to see you guys' comments. I'm always excited to come out and talk to y'all. All right, let me see if this did what it was supposed to do. Hallelujah. All right. All right. I am running tests real quick, guys. Hey, now I can see you guys' comments. Hey. How are y'all? Many blessings to you, sis. Hey. You donated? Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know. Let me know what the name, and if you never got an email, my apologies. If you never got an email, my apologies. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm literally running a test over here. All right, I don't feel like doing this. I want to make sure I talk to you guys. Say, hey. How are y'all? All right, y'all know what time it is. Hey, gorgeous, how are you? Y'all know what time it is. I'm really excited about tonight. I want to talk to y'all, and I want to announce the final, give you guys the update on the Wifeable Mentorship. There are some changes that I made that I am super excited about. I want to say this. God is all up in this. This is 1000% the will of God. So I'm excited about it. Make sure you guys are liking and sharing. But this is 1000% the will of God, and God has confirmed it many times. And I'm just excited about what he's doing. Sorry. Give me a second. My lips are dry. I've been over here working. I just got back home at 10 p.m. Just got back home at 10 p.m. One of my sisters in Christ took me out for my birthday, which was yesterday. Oh, yes. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. Thank you guys for the seeds that you sown for my birthday. Y'all absolutely blessed me. So thank you so much. I know that you don't have to, just like, I don't have to come out here and teach, but I know that you don't have to sow a seed. That's not something that, is mandated. And so I'm always really appreciative of those of you who take the time out to sow a seed. It's something that really truly blesses me. And one of the things that I had to get past, if I can be transparent with you guys, happy belated birthday. Thank you. But one of the things I can be transparent with you guys, a lot of times when I'm teaching, and if I have to talk about, hey, sow a seed, I'm not always happy to do that. On one hand, I'm excited because I know what sowing a seed does, because I'm a seed sower. So I've gotten blessed. So I know the benefits of it, but I also know the suspicious mindsets that people have. People, anytime you start talking about money, they start feeling some type of way. And so I came out and I said, hey guys, if you want to sow a seed for my birthday, and that's always me having to get past discomfort, just to say that, because you have people out there who understand seed sowing. Then you have people out there who feel some type of way. And that's something we'll deal with over the course of time. For those of you who have a poverty mentality, which is a wrongful relationship with money, which is where you're always kind of crutching your money or what have you, and then you kind of feel offended whenever a pastor, a leader, or anybody starts talking about money. That's something that we want to make sure that we deal with over the course of time, so that you can get to a spot where you're not afraid and you're not offended by it. You're not suspicious about it, and you come to understand that's just how the kingdom works. And then you can reap the benefits from that. So thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Thank you so much for the birthday blessings. And I'm going to put it in here right now again, because I would prefer you guys, if you're going to, so I will prefer you to do Cash App. than to do YouTube. And the only reason I say that is because YouTube takes a great chunk of it. I think they take like 40 to 50% of it. But that's neither here nor there. I wanted to make sure that I took the time out. Thank you, Sister Maria. God bless you. Um, what do you say about those that give just for the sake of receiving a return in regard to supporting them? Well, whatever you give as long as you give with the right heart. I mean, for example, if I want a new car and a new house or what have you, I'm gonna sow my way into that. And if I don't do money, I'll do time. But I'm gonna sow my way into that. And so there's nothing wrong with that. Now, the only time there's something wrong is when people give with the wrong intentions. Um, for example, when somebody gives and then they kind of hold it over your head, or they start trying to control you. And that's when it's no longer a seed; it's bait. And so some people they do give seeds and it's just bait. And so, but for the most part, most people when they sow is either because of appreciation. And when I sow, for example, it's because I understand kingdom principles, I understand kingdom laws, but at the same time, I give because I appreciate the person. I also give because I know what seed giving does. So I do expect a return on the seed that I've sown, even if it didn't come to me, but the generation after me. I'm still reaping from what my great grandmother sowed, from the stuff that my great grandmother did. I'm actually reaping from that right now. And so I know the benefits of it. I believe, I genuinely, and I'm not saying this, I'm not just saying it, I genuinely, wholeheartedly believe that a lot of us are still here, we're still sane because of some seed that somebody in our, let's say, in our ancestral lineage sown. And what I mean by that is, um, maybe granddaddy ran out in the middle of the road, put himself in danger and saved somebody's life, and he helped somebody. And when the time came around, whatever a man sowed, that shall he also reap. Whenever the time came around, maybe my life was spared because of something that my great grandfather did a long time ago. So I'm a huge thing I'm huge when it comes to seed. So when I come out and talk about it, and I think for a lot of times, I don't want y'all to hear me on this, and then I'm going to get into what I want to talk to y'all about. I think a lot of times people who are really huge on seeds, like people who talk, who are passionate about it, they're not. I mean, you do have thieves out there who are trying to rape and rob and plunder people, but for the most part, my experience with people has been a lot of people who are really passionate about it. They are heavy givers. They give more than anybody, and they've seen the benefit of it. And because they've seen the benefit of it, they've developed a passion for it. Um, it's kind of like if you were to go to a shoe store, and we know this as women, you go to a shoe store and you hear a discount code, and you put that discount code in, and every time you go, you get 50% off. What are you going to do? You're excited about it. So you'll go tell your friends, hey girl, you should go here or what have you. And people are not going to be suspicious. But if you own the store or if you have some type of stock in the store, that's when people start getting suspicious. Now, it could be that I'm telling you that because even though I got stock in the store, I'm telling you because I'm excited about it. Let's just say I work there and I get commission off of it or what have you. But I'm excited about it. I'm not telling you because I want commission, because I don't know what time of day you're going to come in. Maybe you're going to come in when one of my coworkers is working. I don't know any of that. All I know is that, hey, every time you put doorbuster in or you put this in, you get 50% off. And so I'm going to be passionate about it. And I'm going to be like, sis, you should come there. I'm telling you, they get a new shipment in every Tuesday, girl. And come about 4. And so if that's my shift, then people will typically start getting suspicious, and they'll be like, she's just trying to make some money or what have you. And that's how honestly, people who have a wrongful relationship with money, that's how they just basically relinquish the responsibility. That's how they just basically talk themselves out of something. It helps them to feel better about having a wrongful relationship with money, rather than just saying, hey, hey, I don't want to give up no money. I feel like this or I feel like that. Rather than them saying that, they would much rather say, oh, you trying to get over on me or what have you. And so when it comes to that type of stuff, when you give, let's just say if somebody in your family is dealing with something or what have you, you can give. What you're doing is, hey, I want to tap into what's on that person's life. I'll give it to you like this, and then I want to get into it because I don't like to stay too long on money messages because, like I said, a lot of times people come in and they start getting offended because a lot of times people have a wrongful relationship with money. But I want you to think about Elisha and the widow. The widow, if you don't know the story, here comes Elisha and he comes up on a widow. And the widow, they're having a famine in the land. The widow is sitting there and she is literally about to prepare the last meal for her and her son because they don't have any more money. She figures, hey, they're about to die, so she doesn't have anything else. So what she does is she goes and she gets the meal. She's getting everything together to create one more meal for her and her son, and so that her and her son could pass away. After that, she expected for her and her son to starve to death. Well, here comes Elisha, and Elisha tells her, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she tells Elisha, and he says, "Give me that last bit you got. Give me that last little bit of meal, and give me that last little bit you got." In American Christianity, we would be offended as crap. How dare you? I'm about to feed my child. How dare you go and tell me to give you? And I'm literally about to give him his last meal, and you're telling me to give it to you? Talking about you a prophet of God, whatever. You know, but thankfully, because desperation would drive you to a place like that. Desperation, hey, she had nothing else to lose. It's like, listen, it's dying today or dying tomorrow, either way. She had nothing else to lose, so she went out on a limb. She took the risk, and she did what a lot. And he told her, "Your cruise is not going to run out. Your meal's not going to run out. Just do that." And she didn't run out during the famine. It never emptied out. So the thing about it is, she had to go out, and that's what faith is. Faith looks foolish. Faith makes you feel silly. Faith makes you feel foolish. Faith sometimes will make you feel like you're being taken advantage of. And so when it comes down to stuff like that, a lot of times in American Christianity, you don't see this in Africa so much. American Christianity is like that. Westerners are very suspicious. Westerners think everything, and that's because Westerners have a huge love of money. And so because they have a love of money and because they grip their money, they have a wrongful relationship with money, they assume everybody has a wrongful relationship with money. And because they assume everybody has a wrongful relationship with money, anytime your church and the pastor says, sow a seed, then, or, anything that's affiliated with money, offense starts to rise up in them or what have you. They start getting, and for me, I always tell people like, hey, if you're not there yet, that's fine. But don't try to discourage other people. Don't get offended and try to discourage other people, because typically when people do that, it's just they're afraid. They don't want anybody to give if they're not going to give. And so they're afraid that you're going to go and give and you're going to do this and you're going to tap into a blessing, and then they're going to be looking some type of way. So they would much rather everybody be in the same predicament as them. That way they don't feel bad about it. Awesome. Amen. Amen. I do too. I love giving. I'm a giver. I have the gift of charity. I'm a giver by nature. And so for me, it's like it drives me. It excites me, and I have to control it sometimes. So I am a giver to the core. So with that being said, I'm going to talk to you guys. But before I go into any other discussion, I'm really here to deal with the mentorship I've been telling you guys about, but I am going to do a little bit of teaching behind this. I want to tell you about the mentorship. It is officially launched. The date for the mentorship, Wifeable, has changed. Now, let me say this. I am grateful. I always say this, but I am grateful for leadership. I'm grateful for my pastor. So one of the reasons that I didn't launch it when I first talked about it is I wanted to put it together. I wanted to pray about it. And at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I'm accountable with it. So I finally put it together the other day, spoke with my pastor about it, and he said, hey, okay, let's arrange to have a discussion about it, or what have you, before you launch out. And I want to say this, I am grateful for leadership. I'm grateful for my leadership. This is one of the reasons I always say it is an amazing thing. It is a great thing to have a pastor, guys. It is an amazing thing to have a pastor, because for me, I've been excited about this mentorship. I've been feeling God all over it, but it's been really intimidating because here I am. I got this idea, and God has His idea, and it seems like it was a pull, or what have you. It was a, and God started giving me clarity the other night. But when I spoke to my pastor on yesterday about it, um, God had really dealt with him. I'm talking about he has such clarity about it. He started telling me, and so here's the new thing. I see people are closing out, but that's it. Anyhow, but here's the new thing. This is what I got gathered from it. One of the things that while talking to my pastor, he really blessed my life. He helped me to understand that it's way more than just a wifeable mentorship. It's not just women coming and looking, to be married. But more so, like he said, your governmental grace, you need to, help people in other areas. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing with this mentorship. After I talked to him, I had so much clarity. So I'm talking about the fog was gone. And thank you. Thank you. I am super excited about it now. I am really, really excited about it. And I'm also calm about it because I realized, hey, get in this. I'm telling you right now, if you ever wanted a mentor, get in this program. Make sure that you register for it. Um, get in this. But at the same time, I'm not tripping. For me, my goal is I'm going to have 50. That's my goal. I want to have 50 of you guys register. Um, but even if I have 5, I ain't tripping because I believe that the people that are called to me, the people that I'm called to, are going to be the people who register. So I want to give you guys a little bit of insight about it. I'm about to post it up right now, but I want to make sure that I'm about to post up the link right now so y'all can look at it. But I want to make sure that I explain every class. Okay, yeah. I got one of them I need to go back in. Oh, okay, okay. I had to get my brain back together. Let me see here. I want to make sure that I explain every class so that you guys understand what will be happening in every class. Esther Prep University. So it's called Esther Prep, and there's going to be wifeable mentorship under Esther Prep. And let me tell you why. The clarity that I needed, God helped me to understand it is more than just wives or what have you. It's more than that. But it's Esther Prep. Esther was a governmental gift. She didn't just become a wife, but she became a wife for a reason. And so she helped to save the people of God. I'm trying to see okay, I had to figure out where I was. But she was there to help and to save the people of God. And one of my passions, God has given me so many gifts. If you guys don't know about it, God has given me a ton of gifts. And I want to help to awaken the gifts, not waking up, but awaken the gifts and my sisters in Christ. Many of you have gifts that you know not of. You have gifts that you are completely unaware of. So this is what the mentorship is going to entail. Okay, I'm about to. Thank you, thank you. I'm not sure about it, but you can do the Cash App, sis. You can do Cash App if you can. You can do Cash App. I just posted it back up. But I just posted up the link for the registration. So this is the way that the registration is going to look. Esther Prep University is more than just preparing women for marriage or what have you. Esther Prep University, what I'm planning to do, there are 3 packages. You got a starter package, a standard package, and an intensive package. You can register for 3 months, 6 months, a year. 9 months and a year. Now it's a year mentorship, but I'm saying the reason I'm offering a 3-month to start off with is, if somebody can't afford to go ahead and pay for the year, I didn't want them to lose access to it because they couldn't afford to pay for the year up front. But it will allow you to go ahead and pay for 3 months. Now, if you can pay for the year and you choose to pay for 3 months, I'm going to go ahead and tell you why you're doing it. You're doing that because you're looking for a way out. That's your way of escape. And I'm going to give you some wisdom. Don't think like that. One of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're committing yourself. So let me get into this. The Esther Prep University is about raising or changing the hearts and the minds of women of God. So let's just say you're an empath. You've been dealing with the Jezebel spirit your whole life. Your family is filled with Jezebels. Everybody in your family has, and you constantly keep attracting narcissists to yourself or what have you. We're going to deal with that in this program. I'm going to walk with you, talk with you, learn about you, and help to instruct you and help you to get the freedom. Now, I'm going to give you some hard advice. Now, I want you to understand that different packages come with a different intensity. If you're, let's say, starter package 3 months, then you're probably not going to you'll get intensity if you want it, if you pursue it. But if you're not putting yourself in it, if you're just kind of ghosting in the class or what have you, just to see what's going to happen, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get the full benefit of the class. So this class is going to be about helping you to get freedom. So it's going to start off, I want to start the first sessions about counseling, and it's going to be group counseling. All of them are going to come with group counseling. It's going to be group counseling. It's going to be, I want to know who you are. I want to know what you've been through. I want to know what you've done. I want to know about you as a person, because then we can start laying the foundation. I learned this when I did mentorship one other time, whereas, mentorship, I always try to give people the differences between mentorship, coaching, and counseling. And even though I gave the difference between mentorship and coaching, a lot of people still came in there and really, in all out honesty, they needed counseling. And so a lot of times people will sign up for something like that. You say mentorship, they hear counseling and they think, oh yeah, I'm tired of this or what have you. But this is going to have a counseling aspect to it, because I want to make sure that we're laying a solid foundation. I want to make sure that we're not trying to build on top of dysfunction, toxicity, or trauma, rejection. We're not trying to build on top of that. And if there's anything in your life that needs to be torn down, that's my focus. I want that thing torn down. Any demonic structures, ungodly mindsets, we're going to deal with that in the first few sessions, or what have you, maybe even the first quarter. We're going to deal with counseling. Then we're going to also deal with instruction. This is when we're going to start teaching. I want to make sure that you guys understand your identity. That's important. If I teach you how to do this or do that, if I teach you how to do anything, but you don't have your identity, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know anything about yourself, then what you're going to do is you'll find either myself or somebody in the program to mimic yourself after. You'll find somebody to pattern yourself after, because you don't understand who you are. So I want to make sure that if you're registering for this, that you understand your identity. I want you to know who you are. I want you to know, okay, this is who I am. Now, knowing who you are doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to automatically start taking up wings and conquering the world. It means that you're going to start to understand, okay, this is why I went through what I went through. This is how I'm wired. One of the things I love doing is sitting down with women. I love talking to people and just really helping them to understand, and just looking at the shock in their face when they come to understand, oh, okay, so this is why I went through this in this relationship. And that's why I went through that in that relationship. And I tell them, sis, you're wired this way. And so because you're wired, you can't be with anybody. You can't date anybody or what have you. And so that's what we're going to be doing in that, dealing with your identity. Also, the starter packages don't come with trades, but the standard package and the premium intensive package, you'll be able to go into other classrooms that I have, like remnant writers. Listen, I want y'all to hear me on this. This is actually perfect for those of you who want to learn how to write a book. If you want to learn how to edit, because I have a remnant editors class. What else? Marriage Prep University. You'll have access to that. You'll have access to Deliverance Prep University. So that's if you are in the premium. Now, standard package, it comes with a trade class of your choice. You can get in one of those trade classes, but whenever you go to premium, you'll have access to all of those trade classes. You'll be able to go into any of them. So you'll still have Esther Prep University. You'll be able to go into Life University and look at that library, listen to those teachings, and you'll also be able to go through remnant writers. Let's say you want to write a book in 5 weeks. You'll be able to log in and take that particular class. If you want to do remnant editors, you'll be able to log in and take that particular class. If you want to do Marriage Prep University, you'll be able to log in and take that particular class. Life University, you'll be able to log in and take that particular class. And so that's what we're going to be doing. Let me see, what does this stand for? Oh yeah, managing devilish people. If you want to learn about deliverance, you'll be able to take that class. And if I launch something else this year, you probably, I can't say that. It would depend, but you'll be able to launch what's currently up there right now. So I would advise you, if you can, go for the premium intensive package, because you will never go hungry with that particular package. That package, you're gonna always have content. Either I'm coming out teaching, and even if you have space between me teaching, you can always log into a trade class and take advantage of that particular class. How do I get the standard? It's on the link as well. I'll post the link up again. Here it is. That's the link right there. But you can register for the standard as well. Standard would allow you to take one of those classes, so you can choose. Hey, let's just say, for example, you decide I want to choose Marriage Prep University. You can choose that. Or if you decide I want to take a writer's class, you can choose that. So I'm saying that to say, make sure that you're getting, if you ever wanted mentorship, make sure you're getting into classes. Now, I want to also mention this when it comes to intensive. There are levels of intensity. If you get into the intensive, that means that you want to walk close with me. That means that you're saying, hey, I really want somebody I want somebody to mentor me. I want somebody to examine my life. I want to have that level of coaching. And so that's what intensive it is. And let me see, with intensive, you'll get, and with standard and intensive, you will get the wifeable ebook participation. I want to make sure that I'm describing this, and I'm going to get into teaching for those of you who are on here, but you'll get the wifeable ebook participation, and in that, what you'll get is at the end of the year. Well, if you're in the standard or the premium, every month you're going to write a report. Every month you're going to write a report. You're going to measure your distance. As a matter of fact, it's going to come with a chart. On the chart, it's going to have 12 women. Or 12 issues. I don't want to say issues. It's going to be 12 silhouettes or what have you. And you'll be able to shade in every month. Every time you accomplish this particular month, you've done all your homework assignments, you came to all your classes. This is you defeating another chapter or what have you. And then you're moving on. So I'll be measuring your distance, and you'll be able to measure your own distance. But it'll come with a t-shirt. The premium comes with one-on-one sessions quarterly. Now, that comes on with one-on-one sessions for premium. That means that we'll have one-on-one. I got to make sure I put that up, one-on-one 1 hour sessions, because folks will swear that's like 7 hours or what have you. And I got on here access to 3 trade classes, but I'm going to upgrade that to access to at least 5 trade classes for those of you who register premium. And like I said, I admonish you to make sure that you register for the year if you can. Don't give yourself room to quit. I'm giving y'all some advice. I'm starting into the advice right now. Make sure you're liking the video, guys. But don't give yourself in any time, in anything, never give yourself space to quit, because you will quit if you give yourself space to do so. And what that means is, if I can afford to pay for the year, but I choose to pay for 3 months, I have had commitment issues. And that means, for me, it would only mean I just want to see what's going to happen. I don't want to overcommit and then get up in here and I don't like it. No, there are going to be times in the mentorship that you're going to probably feel like, hey, I want to go back to normal. I want you to hear me when I say this. Anytime you're going through mentorship, mentorship is you saying, I don't want to be in this season anymore. I'm ready to move to my next season. Most people go in cycles because they have mentors. I want you to hear me when I say this. Moses led the people of God. Anytime you find the people of God, throughout the Bible, you will see that they had leaders. And so what God does is he brings people to lead you. Now, you can end up going in cycles and in circles if you're being led by your own flesh, if you're being led by yourself. But if you want to come out of a season, if you say in your heart and your head, hey, I'm tired of being stuck right here. I'm tired of dating the same type of people. I'm tired of looking at my bank account, not seeing this, I'm always living from paycheck to paycheck or what have you. If you're tired of doing that, get yourself in a mentorship program. And I need you to hear me on that. Get yourself in a mentorship program. Because if you think you're going to defeat that by yourself, if you think that you're just going to be at home and I'll figure it out, you probably will. But do you know how long it'll take you to do that? a whole lifetime. So your best out is to get into a mentorship program where somebody can come and tell you, hey sis, this is what you need to do. Hey sis, you should be a part of this. Now I want to go ahead and give you the date, and then I'm going to get into teaching you guys, because over the next few weeks I'm going to be coming out talking about the program. I don't want to overburden you with it right today, but I do want to say that for those of you who register for the premium, you can get 10% off. Yes, it has all levels on it. But if you register for the premium, you can get 10% off. And the coupon code for 10% off is wife 2020. Let me make sure. Let me make sure I ain't lying to y'all. Yep, wife 2020. Wife is in all caps. Wife 2020 if you register. Yeah, and people will say stuff. I want you to hear me when I say this. Stuck people will always tell you don't need anything because they're stuck. Do you know the average female is stuck? My assignment is actually to raise up Esthers. God has given me so much clarity on it. And when I say Esthers, that's not just about marriage. That's about career. That's about entrepreneurship. That's about changing. I'm talking about taking a woman from being flesh covered, stuck, doing it, and take that female and take her all the way. It's to get her, you can lead her as far as you've gone. You can lead a person as far as you've gone. My assignment is to take people, but I'm gonna tell you something, and I want you to hear my heart on this. Most women, most Christians are stuck, and they will always give you stuck people advice. If I listen to the people who try to advise me, I wouldn't do anything. As of right now, I've written the book, 3 books I'm about to release is going to make 45 books. I've written 45 books. I have a successful Christian magazine. I own several companies. I'm doing a lot, but of all the things that I'm doing, you would be amazed. People still will try to discourage you, even though you're doing a lot. They'll be like, folks be doing the most. People always have something to say. And I think the reason that people typically do that is because it makes them feel bad. It makes them feel ashamed whenever somebody comes along and is dominating like that. Whenever somebody comes in and begins to walk in their dominion, I'm talking about when people are launching things and doing things, it makes them feel some type of way. They don't like the feeling behind it. And so what they do is everybody in their circle, they discourage. This is the reason why I don't try to fit into cliques, because sometimes cliques are just stuck people. But they're just discouraging everybody around, because the general consensus, I want y'all to hear me when I say this. The general consensus with a lot of people is this: if I can't do it, I don't want you to do it. When I tell you I'm saying this with passion in my heart, I've had mentorships, I've had coaching, and it's always like that. Let's say, for example, if I'm doing a coaching call or mentorship thing, and we're trying to debate on whether to have a call. I'm trying to get everything, hey guys, y'all available for a call or what have you. The one person who don't feel like the person that feels like I don't want to have a call tonight, I don't feel like having a call, they will literally, like, we on a message board, and this is what we're going to be doing with the mentorship. We are going to be on a message board, but they will be on a message board and they will see you live. It'll say seen. They will see you completely ignore you. They don't want nobody to get in. They don't want anybody because they don't feel like get on the call. And it's like, okay, well, if you don't feel like it, then you go be average. You go be mediocre. But the other folks can come in. They don't want anybody to come in. And so what they'll do is they'll try to say something to discourage everybody else. Oh, Tiffany, I ain't going to be able to do it tonight. They'll try to discourage everybody else from getting on. I've learned this about people. If a person can't afford to do something, if a person is too afraid to do something, if a person is too stuck to do anything, they will go out of their way to keep you from doing it. And when I tell you that thing is common, it's more common than it's not until you start dominating that you get a chance to see how people are really operating as crabs in a bucket. And so a lot of times when you come to people, I'm talking about they'll have on a nice little crispy cream church hat with the feather on the side and everything, and try to use big words and try to discourage you. I'm going to tell you something. This is the reason why when I was churchless, when I didn't have a church, when I was praying, I was asking God, I said, Lord, I need you to send me to the church. This is the reason why when I had people coming, to me trying to bring me under, um, trying to bring me under them, trying to bring me into their church, I can look at them and say, that's not my pastor. No, no, no. Because the thing about it was, you got to have somebody who walks heavier than you. When God showed me my church, I can understand why. Just even talking to my pastor, I can understand why God led me to my church. Because I can sit there and say, okay, that's my pastor. That's my leader. You know how I know that's my leader? Because this is somebody who's doing way more than me, who's going to encourage me, push me, stretch me, and, going to push me. But if I go to a church, if I get under somebody who's doing less, they'll discourage me. They'll be like, baby, you just need to sit down sometimes. It don't take all that. That's all. And you have to look at their life and decide, do I really want that? You'll have a man. I'm getting into this. You'll have a woman who has a mediocre husband who ain't doing much of anything. The dude's probably in the corner somewhere, Ahab, licking his wounds, and she'll be sitting there telling you, and she'll have a little bitty thing that she's running. Ain't no more than 5, 10 people, and she'll tell you how to get stuck. Stuck people always have the biggest mouths. They always have something to say. They're always trying to tell you it don't take all that. In mentorship classes, this is one of the reasons I tell people. One of the things I've been doing with my digital voice recorder is I'm already getting content ready because September 1st, I want to make sure content is already on there so you guys can start getting it in. But I talked about this on one of the audio messages. Stuck people, they don't like the concept of you coming in and dominating. They don't like that. Stuck people, I'm going to tell you something. We got people logged in right now. You're going to have some people here who are logged in who are stuck. And when I say stuck, a lot of people are stuck, but there are some people who are stuck who ain't trying to get free. They ain't trying to get free because what they did is religified their stuckness or their inability to move. The fact that they're constipated in life, they religified it. They made it in their mind. It was just the will of God, or they'll say, but they don't like to see you move. They don't like to see you move. They don't like to see you ascending. And so the loudest people, the most yappingest people are the ones that come tell you, baby, it don't take all that. Sometimes you just got to sit down and rest. Y'all be out here trying to kill yourself. Yeah, and they'll tell you all of that. But you look into their life and you'll see that they're struggling to make ends meet. You will see that they got their husband laid up in a corner somewhere and a dude's scared to make a sound. He just pumped out and he just in his corner just. So don't listen to everybody who is, having something to say. I want y'all to hear me on this, and I want y'all to hear my heart on this. This is my passion. This mentorship, if you say, like you said, my sister Rudy, if you say I'm tired of being stuck, get in that mentorship. One of the things I've learned is, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get into a teaching, and I think I'm already starting to teach y'all. This is what I did. When I first got to my church, I was afraid of commitment. To this day, I still sometimes struggle with commitment. I don't like to commit to things because I like to give myself room. Like if I wake up, I don't want to have to wake up and be like, dang it, I got to go here today at 12 or the day before. A lot of times the day before, if I'm committed to something, if I'm supposed to go somewhere the next day, I can feel frustrated the day before. I don't like that feeling. So a lot of times I don't volunteer. If they say, hey, we need people to do this, I don't like the feeling of it. So in order for me to overcome that, I started throwing myself in a lot of things at my church. I volunteered for a lot of different things in the church because what I wanted, I said, you know what? I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to spend my life being stuck. I don't want to spend my life sitting up there, I don't want to spend my life sitting up there, telling myself that, I'm going to get out of this or what have you. No, I don't want to spend my life like that. So what I did, awesome, Sister Catherine, I saw your registration. Congratulations. I'm looking forward. Definitely excited about mentoring you, sis. Definitely excited about mentoring you. Catherine is somebody that I've chatted with a few times. So really, really proud of you. Really, really proud of you. But I throw myself to this day you don't overcome yourself by, y'all got to hear me on this. You cannot overcome yourself by going by your feelings. I don't feel like registering. I don't feel like spending. I don't feel like, I don't know, I'm scared. You cannot, I'm going to tell you how you get past that. You throw yourself. I'm telling you this from my heart because I still do this. All of them include everything, but it's a year mentorship. It's better to pay for the year up front if you can, and that way you don't have to pay. But I offered the different options. So, like if somebody can't afford to pay for the year, they can pay for 3 months in advance. Yeah, and so basically, and I'm glad y'all tell me y'all confused because I want to make sure that y'all understand. You have the starter, and you can see the different things, but it's just basically this: the mentorship is for a year. All of them under the starter, the standard, and the premium. They're all a year's mentorship. So you have to be in there for a year. But if you come into it, let's just say you say, hey, you couldn't afford to pay for a year up front. Because I had to be real, some people can't afford to pay for a year, and you want to pay for 3 months. Then you can pay for 3 months. And then when those 3 months are coming to an end, you should have enough money to go ahead and pay for the year out or pay for the next 3 months or something like that. But if you can afford to pay for the year, go ahead and pay the year out. So hopefully, let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if you guys have any questions. You're most welcome. But my goal in this mentorship is to raise up people. My thing is this. I want to teach you everything that I know. And everything that you pull on, everything that you want out of me, that's what I want to teach you. That's my thing. And God had to help me to understand. Yes, you can watch replays for the classes. There are always replays available. I do live classes, and then I'll record as I'm doing live, and so you'll be able to go and do the all of them are, it's the same. It's just 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. That's all. It's just basically the different ones. Either you can sign up for 3 months if you say, hey, I want to do a year, but I can't afford it right now. And so you can sign up for 3 months. But in order to graduate from the program, you're going to have to do an entire year. So if you can afford to pay for the year, you just go ahead and pay for the year. If you can't afford to pay for the year, then you just pay for what you can afford to, and then you come back before that ends, before the 3 months is over with, you pay for whatever you can pay for. But my thing is this: I want to bring people close. I'm going to tell you what God, because when I was doing this, I was praying, and I was like, Lord, what do you want? Because I'm over here struggling. Awesome. I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all have no idea how proud I am of y'all. But I'm over here struggling. Like, I'm struggling with the vision because I got this and I got that. And that's why, like I said, for me, I'm so thankful to God for my spiritual father, because he brought it on home. When I talked to him yesterday, I felt like a lioness. I was like, okay, I got this. I got this, and what have you. And I'm accountable. And I was telling him about it. He's like, what's your vision for it? And then he started sharing with me who I am. He's like, you got this grace on your life. Don't limit yourself. So I'm just really excited about it. But in this program, what I want to do is, one of the things you'll notice if you ever taken a mentorship with me is I'll sit back. I just had them to create a card game. The ladies I've been mentoring, I had them to create a card game. I didn't just say go create a card game. I gave them instructions. I said, this is what you're going to do. You're going to create a card game. I'm going to show you how to get the graphics. I'm going to show you how to do this. And then you're going to print your card game. And you're going to put your card game up for sale. One of the young women that's in my mentorship completely blew my mind. Because a lot of times, mentors, a lot of times we actually expect, like, I can see somebody like, okay, she's going to go far. She's going to go all the way in it. She ain't going to quit because she's ambitious, she's excited, or what have you. And the people that you feel like are going to do the most, they're typically falling behind in a lot of cases. But I had a young lady, I think she's like 21 years old, that's in a mentorship. Sister girl she has not skipped a beat. She has not skipped a beat in the mentorship. She has always, and even the days where I told them, I said, if I don't come out and do a call with you guys, I want y'all to come together and I want y'all to pray together, build a sisterhood or what have you. A lot of times everybody else will be sitting back like, oh, well, Tiffany ain't coming on. I don't want to come on. But she'll come on the board and say, hey, y'all, hey, here's my number. Y'all want to, come together and pray. So yesterday, I think it was the day before yesterday, I literally reached out to her, and I see a baby spider coming down. But I literally reached out to her on the message board, and I said to her, I did I did a public message on the message board and said to her, "Hey, I'm reaching out to you because I want to walk closer with you. I want you to walk closer because you've been diligent." She's been in the program for 8 months. I'm like, "You've been diligent. You've been consistent." So I made sure I honored her publicly because I'm really proud of her. I said, "You've been diligent. You've been consistent, and I'm going to send you my phone number. So I want you to work with me on some things." That's what mentorship is. Mentorship, and I want you to hear, mentorship is even happening right now. Mentorship is this. This is okay. You'll be able to watch replay. But mentorship is this. Mentorship is getting past yourself. I can give you the tools. Mentorship is, I'm fixing a plate for you. I'm putting wisdom, knowledge, understanding. I'm putting experience. I'm putting all of this on the plate. But you have to eat it, even though you feel full, even though when you feel tired, even though when you don't feel like it's necessary, you have to eat it. And that means you have to sit there and say, man, I really don't feel like coming to class tonight, but all right, let me go get this. Let me go. I'm gonna keep doing this because I'm gonna tell you something. As a leader, that doesn't stop. Y'all, I want you to hear me when I say that. That feeling does not stop. I am in lead. I like I said, I've written 45 books. I have a card game of my own. I own a successful magazine. I own AF Salt. I own Anointed Fire House Publishing. I own Anointed Fire. So I do, and I work a lot. Guys, I am constantly in movement. I volunteer with my pastor. My brain is always moving. So I'm always at this thing, and I want y'all to hear me. Don't log off until you hear this. I'm always at this thing where I'm like, I don't feel like this. But let me say this. I've learned that you never get past that. What you do is you actually learn how to get over it. Because that means I can get up in the morning and be like, man, I really don't feel like doing this. But at the same time, I'm so used to overcoming that and defeating that it's just a sound in my ear. I get past it so fast. It's something, because a lot of times, like, people are on here right now, they'll hear me. They're under the sound of my voice, but they feel like, I want to, but I don't know if I'm going to feel like it. You cannot be led by your feelings. Your feelings will be there. When you 88 years old, your feelings are going to be there. And your feelings are going to tell you, I don't feel like it. You constantly hear that. When I wake up, I can sit back and be like, okay, I'm supposed to, typically the night before I'm going to do something, I'll say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to work on such and such's book. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to edit that. I'm going to do this. And so I'll make it up in my mind what I'm going to do the night before so I can have my brain prepared. So you learn yourself like that. When I get up, sometimes I'm thinking, man, I don't feel like it. I really don't feel like doing it. I don't. But at the same time, it's a thought. It's a fleeting thought because I'm so used to just getting past it. So I don't sit there and meditate on it and lay in my bed and be like, no, I actually get up and go at it. So that's what we do in this program. Okay, I'm glad you asked this question. Could a 3 months premium be later on expanded to 12 months? Yes, it can. You can always come back and, upgrade. Somebody said, I hope this doesn't sound rude, but why put a price on mentoring? Okay, so I did mentorship last year for free. I had to learn a valuable lesson. People who don't want to pay for mentorship, they don't even care about their own development. I'm making a sacrifice of my time. I'm making a sacrifice. I'm giving you my tools, my wisdom, my knowledge, my understanding. I'm giving you all that. If you think that feeling that you have right now, where you could, like what you were saying, I don't mean to sound rude, but I got to pay for when you got into mentoring, you know how you will feel. Why I got to do homework? I don't mean to sound rude, but why? I mean, I just don't feel like it. Why I got to do homework? I did a mentorship where I did that for a year. I didn't charge the women anything. I tell you, I thank God for that mentorship because it humbled my behind. I bought the women in, and the only thing I required them to do, I said, hey, I'm gonna give you my login. I'm gonna make you an admin on some of my Facebook pages, and you just come up and you pay that way. You just share some of my logos. Just come up there and say, hey, check out afsalt.com. That's it. They had to do that like 2 days a week, probably 15 to 20 minutes of those days. Do you know that folks were getting offended because of that? They wanted me to give them my time, my experience, my tools, what God has shared with me, but they didn't want it. And I learned you don't deal with broke mentality people. You can't mentor them because their mindset is so broke down that they're not trying to invest. I'm not trying to appeal to people like that because they're not going to, half of them quit. Well, not half of them. It started off with 39 women in that mentorship. By the time it was over, it was 7 women left. The mentorship I have now, every woman has survived through it. Most of them. I've only had 2 to go. I've only had 2. But I've learned, and these ones are paying. People who pay stay. You know why? Because where you put your money is your appreciation. You value what you spend on or what you invest in. If you're not willing to invest in it, you don't value it. You won't value it. You know what happens? I'm the one pouring. You're not. You're just there taking and saying thank you. But it has no value to you because you're not making a sacrifice. And so when I come and I say, hey, I need this homework assignment in by 12 o'clock Friday night, guys. And remember, there's a $24 late fee. You'll be the first one to get offended. You'll be the first one to get mad. You'll be the first one to quit. You'll be the first one to cock an attitude. Why? Because you didn't put anything in it. So I had to learn when it comes to your gifts, your talents, your anointing, all of those things, let people come. It's not, I don't even think it's to exploit people. I think we learn through experience because we go through those moments where we're trying to help, and I pull people close and try to mentor them. No, man. When people have no vested interest in something, they will completely dishonor and disrespect you. They'll just take. But at the end of it, there is no value. I've showed you guys. I want to see if I can pull that up if I still have it. Something I drew up on our last teaching. Let's see if I can find it. But I want you to hear me on this. I'm not offended by the question because, believe it or not, you verbalized it. But there are people on here who think like that. There are people on here who have that question. There are people on here who roll their eyes at it, and they'll be like, but they be the first, man, I'm telling you, they the first ones to get into a program and quit. They the first ones to get mad when you give them a homework assignment. They're the first ones that get mad whenever you correct them. They're the first ones. And so you're most welcome. Remember I told you about relationships. It's the same concept. If this is me, if this is you, this is me, the mentor, and this is you, and I'm pouring out, and you're not pouring. I have more. It's more value in this mentorship to me than it is to you. Mentorship, you have to study the Elisha model. Elisha chased up behind Elijah. He had to give up a lot because he had to leave his father. He had to leave his family behind. The people who followed Christ, they had to leave their businesses. They had to leave a lot of stuff behind. Whenever you're doing mentorship, there is sacrifice, not on the mentor's end, on the mentee's end. That what it does is it separates the hungry from those who are entitled. The hungry gonna come and they say, man, I'm finna invest in this because I'm tired. I don't want to be stuck. I want to go to the next level in Christ Jesus. I want to move. I want this. Man, I gotta have this. The entitled say, hey, I need this and I want this and I'm just waiting on God. The entitled sit back and wait on God and they grow old and they go to heaven and say, God, what happened? I was waiting on you. And God's like, I put the tools right there in your face. Would you consider doing a late session? I'm not one of those. I'm a legit supporter and love and on fire, but I don't want to wait a whole year to get what could help me out of my current. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? And so let me make sure I give you guys the dates. It's going to officially start on October, not October, good Lord, I'm sorry, September 15th. However, we're going to go ahead and start on September 1st for the early bird registrants. You'll be able to get in and start getting the lessons and stuff. So that's 2 weeks from now. You'll be able to come in and already start getting the lessons, the wisdom. I still don't understand what you mean by late session or current situation. I still don't understand what you mean by that. Maybe I'm reading it too fast. Would you consider doing a late session? I'm not one of those. But I don't want to wait a whole year to get what could help me out of my current situation. I think I understand. So this is the way that it works. Your current situation a lot of times is okay. Give me a second. No, we're going to do this one mentorship and then a year later. When I ask for a late session, I mean like a late set registration. Oh, you can start registering now all the way up until the registration date. I'm probably going to cap it off at some point if I feel like I have too many people registering. And so I want to make sure that I have enough people where I can manage. But your situation, I don't think I need paper. Yeah, I do want to have paper. Your situation, like your current situation, what have you. I want you to understand, like you said, hey, to help with the current situation. I don't know necessarily what you mean, but broker finance. Okay. See, I was about to go into a whole teaching. Yeah, and so what you do is if you can register for a quarter. Go ahead and get in there. If you can register next week, register next week. But just go ahead and make sure that you get in. And let me say this, and I'm going to tell you how the mind works. We know this, but how the mind works. If you have the finances to register now, go ahead and register. And this is not to you, and this is for everybody on here. If you have the finances now to register, go ahead and register. Don't tell yourself, I'll do it next week, because you're going to talk yourself out of it by next week. You'll talk yourself out of it by next week. But yeah, when it comes to stuff like this, that's my passion. I want to raise up people. Like I said, this young lady that's in my program now, she did her card game. I want to see if I can get. Yeah, I got to show y'all. She printed her card game. She's in one of my she's in my mentorship now. And I had their homework assignment was to create a card game. Say not rude. Unfortunately, people charging for the gospel. I love this. It's funny to me when people come on. Okay. Pray for the Lord to give understanding, wisdom, and discernment. You're not charging for the gospel. Let me go ahead and break you off of that. At the end of the day, if you don't want to register, don't. I think a lot of times people get upset because they want to get into something. They just don't want to pay for it. But they'll go to a Beyonce concert and pay for it. But you're on the right one for that. A lot of times people feel like they want to get a part. They want to be a part of something. And what they'll try to do is intimidate you and criticize you because they don't want to pay. But they'll go pay for things that they consider to be important. And they will rape, plunder, and disrespect the men and women of God, which is the reason why the oil don't flow in their life. You coming for the right one. That's the reason the oil don't flow in their life. It has nothing to do with people charging for the gospel. I cannot go out there and charge somebody for the word of God. I can't go out there and charge them to say Jesus Christ is Lord. That's the gospel. The gospel is not mentorship. Who wants some truth? Because people do that type of stuff. They'll try to tell us that we're supposed to give our books away for free. I'm supposed to pay thousands of dollars to publish a book, but I'm supposed to give it to you for free because you got a bad relationship with money. Come with it. I'm supposed to come and give it to you. If I write a song, then you'll call it the gospel. The gospel is what's in that Bible. I can't, if somebody's on the street, I can't say, I'll tell you who Jesus is for $19.95. That's the gospel. But if I'm talking about my experiences, what God has shared with me through me going through what I've gone through, that's not the gospel. I don't owe that to you. Entitlement has crippled so many people in the body of Christ. Entitlement has raped and plundered so many people in the body of Christ. Right, you can crack your own, but people will sit there and that's how they do their pastors. They sit there and they expect they don't want to do nothing for anybody, but they will pay for stuff that they'll go out there and pay for all other stuff. Right, and that's the sad part. It's like you can't come out and teach about. You can't say, "Hey, I'm doing a ministry," without having somebody coming on who they want it, but they don't want to invest in it, and so they try to discourage everybody else from getting. They try to make everybody else feel like it's just not right. It shouldn't be like that, or what have you. I'm finna set this. I'm finna set this. If nobody else hears this, I want everybody on this live and everybody that watches replay to hear this. When a person sells a book, they are not selling the gospel. Unless they copy and paste the Bible and put it in there, they're not selling the gospel. If somebody writes a song and it's a Christian song and they sell it, they're not selling the gospel. I launched a Christian magazine. I'm not selling the gospel. You know what we're selling? Wisdom. We're selling, and it's not even wisdom. It's what we've distracted. We're putting our time in. And get right, they will go to a Beyonce concert and wouldn't argue. People got me when they were coming against Creflo Dollar. I heard a man of God say this, and he said, if you offended with folks who got money, you ain't got to ever worry about having it. You just stay broke the rest of your life because of your mindset. People got offended with Creflo Dollar when he asked for a private jet. I wasn't mad because I understand that this man goes around the world. He's always on a plane. My pastor is always on somebody's plane. He's always on somebody's plane. And because before the pandemic, every time you look up, he was going from this country to that country. And I was praying, God bless my pastor with a private jet. See, y'all don't understand that type of stuff. Some of you do, some of you don't. Lord, bless my pastor with a private jet. I'm not one of those people that deal with jealousy. Why should he have a private jet? The devil is a lie. No, Lord, bless my pastor with a private jet. He can show you a private jet. That's, when you have that type of heart, God can bless you. When you have that type of heart, God can bless you. When you don't have that type of heart, when you looking at the pastor's shoes, like he paid $400 for them shoes and folks out here hungry. Do you know that if I took the $400, this is why Jesus said the poor you will have with you always, when Judas tried to criticize him. Man, when Judas tried to criticize him, because everybody who has I'm going to call this what it is, and I don't care who I offend. Anybody who has something to say about leaders, even collecting tithes, offering, or anything like that, they are a thief. Judas sat up there and he was a thief. And he sat up there and said, why she pouring all that oil? That oil could have been sold in the market and the money could have been given to the poor. But the Bible said, you know what? He didn't care about that. He was a thief. He was a thief. And so I'm not going to get distracted by that. I'm going to keep my heart and I'm going to keep my mind focused, because I want y'all to understand, when we're doing this type of stuff, if it was up to people who have that mentality, the church would be broke down. Generous. Okay, let me move on. All right, let me go ahead. I'm going to move on. I'm going to go from that. Some just have the wrong mindset and not willing to invest in themselves unless it is somewhere else. Yeah, and honestly, if I could be transparent with you guys, that's the black church in the Western world. It's not like that in Africa. It's a black church in the Western world. The white church is not like that. It's the black church. The black church has this mentality. A lot of people in the black church have a mentality that you're not supposed to give. They don't want to see their pastors with anything. They have a mentality that we're not supposed to give you anything. But you are supposed to come out here and teach us and take the time out and show us, tell us about this, and that's just a mentality. And unfortunately, it I think it irks me because it's not even for me. It doesn't affect me, but it doesn't affect me. I think for me, for the most part, but what it aggravates me is how many churches have to close because of people that go in there with those mentalities. They'll put $1 in a collection tray. They don't understand that the lights got to get paid. They don't understand that, you know, things have to get paid for, what have you. They don't care that things got to get paid for. But they will take their money and put it, right, right. But they'll take their time and put it toward other things. And so we have to wrestle with that mentality in the church. And I think a lot of times it's frustrating because we know that people who have that mentality are passionate about spreading it. It's demonic. Man, I don't care. It's demonic. It's a demonic mentality. And they're passionate about spreading it, but yet and still, they don't mind people like Beyonce having all the money and having a jet and all that other stuff. They just don't want to see their pastors wearing alligator shoes. They don't want to see the pastors in anything. And if you have anything like a book, like, let's see, for example, this I got over here. I need to clean my desk off bad. This is a book belonging to a friend of mine. Apostle Keenan Bridges is an amazing man of God. Oh, what have you. This is a book. Not one time have I ever said to him, you need to give it to me for free. Not one time have I ever said, if you got whatever book you got, you need. I don't go to people like that. I don't do people like that. I come, and the Bible says, pay a man what you owe him. And a laborer is worthy of his wages. And so I always make sure that I'm showing honor. But yeah, I get frustrated because there's a dishonor culture in the Black community in the Western church. And that's the reason why a lot of Blacks are broke. That's the reason why they be sitting up there, can't get much money, because they broke and they got a broke mentality. Being broke is a mentality. It's not a financial situation. It's actually a mentality. And that's one of the reasons why, like for me, I want to teach as many women as possible. Get into this mentorship, guys. I want to make sure I post the link up again, but I want to break that. Like for real, I want to break that. I hate it. I hate that mentality. It irks me because it's just a mentality of just it's a really foolish mentality. It says, would you consider doing a live call? And sometimes in the near future, there are some Christian women calling some godless folks for advice. I could, but the only issue is you have too many people pulling on one person. I do like live deliverances like every once in a while, but I even had to kind of limit that from questions, because what would end up happening was at the end of it, it would start at 9, it would end at 6 in the morning, and I would have to force it to end at 6. By the time I got on the phone with the women, I'd be wore out. And so yeah, I could consider that it. I could consider that, in the future or what have you. But yeah, for the most part. Yeah, and unfortunately, the ones that are calling psychics or YouTube witches, they're too desperate. The thing about it is, a lot of times, like a spider. But the thing about it is, a lot of times we can find ourselves in a situation and we're desperate to get out of that situation. But we're always trying to deal with the surface and not the root of it. And what God wants us to do is deal with the root of it. He wants us to deal with the root of it. And so because they're trying to deal with the surface, they're so eager to deal with the surface of it. They're so eager to mow the grass without dealing with the root, the seed. They rush out and they run out. You got to think about King Saul. I'm seeing baby spiders hanging from webs. But you got to think about King Saul. King Saul ran after a witch because, of course, God had departed from him, but he ran after a witch. And believe it or not, Christians do that to this day. If a person has witchcraft in their blood, and they got witchcraft in their system, a lot of times they will run after a witch whenever. And that's the reason why God will allow them to go through hell and high water, because witchcraft is in them. And God will allow that to manifest. He will allow that to, like, he'll allow their patience to boil down, so what's on the inside of them will come to the surface. He'll allow them to go through a whole lot of stuff, so that whenever that witchcraft and stuff, and he says, aha, that's what I'm trying to show you, that's what I'm trying to deal with. You ever been in a situation where you felt like you felt like, I'm tired of life, I'm tired of this, and I'm tired of that, and you dealt with the situation in a Christian way, and then it kept going, and it kept going, and then the next thing you know, you found yourself at the edge of your sanity, and you like, you know what, anybody say anything to me, I'm telling you right now, I would go to jail on these people. I'm about to choke somebody out, I'm gonna cuss somebody out. Next thing you know, you got profanity coming out of your mouth that was there. And so sometimes God will allow the brook to dry out so that you can see what's in you. He'll allow that thing to boil down so that you can see what's in you. So that's that. I want you guys to make sure. Thank you for everybody who has registered thus far. I'm excited. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for everybody who's registered so far. Make sure that you get your seats, ladies. Don't put it off. Don't tell yourself, I'm going to get it next week if you can get it this week, because next week you'll likely talk yourself out of it. Like I said, it's going to officially start September 15th. Nevertheless, I'm going to open it up on September 1st, and we're going to go ahead and start doing our profiles, go ahead and start doing our introductions and stuff like that. All right, so amen. All right, so if anybody has any questions, make sure you get them in here. If anybody has any questions, hey, do me a favor, guys. Make sure that you're liking the video. Make sure you're liking and sharing the video. I'm excited about this mentorship, and like I said, the ones who register, y'all, we're going on a journey. We're going to learn. We're going to get wisdom. And let me say this, because I feel it. There are some of you on here, you're kind of struggling with it. You're struggling with it because you're afraid. You're like, I want it, and I'm confident that it'll be worth it, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to commit on the couch sleep. But you're saying, I don't know if I want to commit to it as of right now. You have to throw yourself. And this is the thing that I've learned. You cannot sit there and think that you're going to talk yourself into it. Me, I'm the type of person that I'll just go ahead and get into something. If I know I need it, I'll just go ahead and register. I numb myself. That's my actual system, is that when I'm overthinking something, when I'm frustrated and I'm scared, I just numb myself and do it. Because I know I need it. I know I want it. But then I'm afraid of the process. I already know it's going to change some things in my life. And I've learned that for the average Christian, we are afraid of change. We're afraid of things changing our normal. We're afraid of losing our normal. But you have to, if you want to go into the next season, the season you're in has become normal to you. And so if you want to go into the next season, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to allow your normal to be interrupted. And I know you're saying to yourself, yeah, but I don't want to. Trust me, I sit there all the time and I'm like, I just want to lay in my room today. But my normal has gone out the window. And I got to a point now where I can say my life is truly not my own. And so the wifeable part of the mentorship, I'm excited about that. I want to teach you guys the mentality of a wife. I want to teach you how to discern the difference between the man of God versus the counterfeit. And as you're walking with me on this journey, if you're courting somebody, then yes, of course, you're accountable with that. And I'm going to be raw with you. Then that's going to depend. If you're in intensive, I'm sorry, I'm going to be straight raw with you. But if you're in a starter, I'll probably be a little bit light with you because I don't know what level you want. But I'll be, I was saying to a sister in Christ today, different things that I do. Yes, I do want to get another dog. I do. I want to have him another friend for, to help build his confidence, especially. But one of the things that I think that, you have to make sure, one of the things I'm going to do is I'll look at your, I'll look and help you to say, hey, that's probably not a good guy for you. For me, I think what really drove me into this was actually having conversations with women. Like, no lie, having conversations with women, and I'm always shocked at how much people don't know about relationships. I am always shocked about that. I am always shocked. Like, you don't know you can't date somebody, you're not supposed to date somebody who ain't in Christ. I'm always shocked about that. Yeah, start at 3 months, but yes, amen, amen. That you got my heart already. You have my heart. I'm like, come at me hard. Come at me hard. My pastor, he's the type of person where he won't come at you hard. He'll come at you and he'll get you. But until you make it clear, hey, for me, I'm just like, get me, because I don't want to get stuck. Like, I don't want to fall. I don't want to follow in my family's footsteps. I don't want to keep going in circles and cycles. I'm like, y'all got to hear me when I say this. I'm determined to dominate this thing called life. I'm determined to dominate this thing called life. I'm not about to be stuck. Honestly, I'm not about to. I can't. I can't even imagine why some people, like, I'm surprised when I look at people who are stuck and who are content. I look at them in awe. Like, you don't mind being stuck there, and they will sit there and go to a job that's not paying them that much money. And they'll sit there in their little safety, where they feel safe for the rest of their lives, waiting on some guy to come along, and then they end up getting in a relationship with some mediocre guy. In a relationship, it's just a constant fail. That's the cycle of their lives, and they actually will go through that until they pass away. They just do that because they don't like their normal to be interrupted. And what God got me with was when I saw my normal constantly being interrupted anyway. When I saw that I was chasing out, it was getting, well, if I'm going to have my normal knocked out, I might as well knock it out myself. If I'm going to have it out. Let me get your question. Anybody got questions, you can put them in here. I have a question, Tiffany. I'm taking a fast from my family. It's been very toxic, and I'm tired of the drama. I just don't want to have a relationship anymore with certain people. Is that normal? Yes, especially if your family is narcissistic. People who come out of narcissistic families, a lot of times, we get to the point where we just like, you know what, I don't want to deal with nobody. Every last person can go on or what have you. But you do have to heal. It changes over time. Because to be honest, I really just really cut my family off for the most part. I won't even say I cut them off. I think I cut them off by simply just putting up a bunch of rules and not calling them, and just, not even giving them my phone number or what have you, and just moving on with my life. Because I didn't feel like dealing with the drama. Like, I don't like drama. I don't like mess. I don't like messy people. I don't like that type of stuff. I'm genuinely a happy-go-lucky person. Like, what you see on here, this is not a front. I am genuinely a person that I will crack jokes all day. I will laugh all day. This is my personality. And I think for me, people have come across me and they really thought I was fake. Like, I can sense it sometimes. People think that I'm fake because I am genuinely a happy person. And anybody that comes and messes with my happiness, I want them away from me. Because I don't feel like being depressed because you're depressed. I don't feel like being frustrated because you're frustrated. I don't feel like that, And so sometimes people will come and they'll steal that from you. They'll steal your joy. People, whenever they're mad or whenever they're frustrated, sometimes you'll pop up on their mind. And they'll be like, I'm going to call such and such. I bet she's sitting up over there. So for me now, I did a constructive eviction on my family. Nowadays, I love my family and I have relationships with some of them. Like, I got a relationship with my siblings. But for the most part, the way that I have my life set up, I have rules, and I created a constructive eviction of sorts. I have rules that in order to be a part of my life, people have to abide by. Like, you ain't gonna be cussing in my ear. You ain't gonna just pop up. And one of the things, that I don't like is this mentality. Like, I got family members I ain't seen in 15, 20 years. And I don't like this crazy mentality that even though I haven't seen you in 15 to 20 years, I should be able to just come back just come popping up in your life, and you're supposed to open up and tell me everything, and then I'm gonna tell you I'm coming into town next week and I'm gonna stay at your house. And it's like, Negro, I don't even know you. I don't know you. You're not coming to my house. And so for me, a lot of times that makes me not want to reconcile with some of them. Not, I won't even say reconcile because I'm not mad at them, but it makes me not want to deal with them because I just don't feel like dealing with their foolishness. I don't feel like I don't know you to invite you into my house. And for the ones I do know, a lot of times I've had conversations with relatives where we were kind of fussy, and I'm just telling them because they're fussing at me about the fact that I have rules. You got so many rules in your house. I sure do. I sure do. And so I did a constructive eviction with when it comes to my family. I'm over here cleaning this desk. I did a constructive eviction with them by just establishing rules. Just when you have boundaries, that creates a bound if you enforce them, because a lot of people have boundaries that they don't enforce. They're not actual boundaries. I call them fluid boundaries. That means they're mirages. It's just the person's attempt to establish boundaries, but then when somebody who's narcissistic or Jezebelic starts to push up against them, they come to find out that there is some give to them. And so there are people out there that they don't have solid boundaries. I have solid boundaries. And my family has come to see that my boundaries are solid. Meaning, no matter how many times they'll fuss at me, talk to me, I couldn't come to your house. You will have you when they say all that kind of stuff. I say, okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, if you're gonna come, if I'm gonna allow you to come to my house, this is the rule. You ain't gonna come in my house playing music, talking about bees and hoes and stuff like that. That's not playing in my house. You're not bringing no toxic people into my house. You ain't gonna party hardy in my house. It's just certain things. And so my house is seen as a boring house. Like, ain't nothing to do if you go over to her house or what have you. And I don't mind them seeing it that way. But when it comes to family members, there is going to be a time, especially whenever you're coming from a narcissistic family, there will be times where, there is a season, I think, where you get to the point where you've had enough. And I think that's a season of transition. That's a season that indicates that, hey, something has to give. There's a season you come to where you're like, I don't really want to have nothing else to do with them. And when I was in that season, I didn't have anything to do with them. But when I got to a spot where I was able to navigate through my feelings, and I was like, okay, I can open the door to my life back up. But I'm coming with a bunch of rules and guidelines. I'm cleaning off my desk because it's bothering me. But I'm coming with a bunch of rules and I'm coming with a bunch of guidelines. And the rules and the guidelines are not designed to keep them out of my life. It's just so they can understand how my life is. I like peace. So no, you can't call me cussing. No, you're not gonna bring your lovers up over my house. No, you're not gonna smoke cigarettes in my house. You better not bring no marijuana in my house or what have you. And I found that for the most part, they don't like that type of stuff. So they don't bother coming around. I don't hear from them. They don't bother coming around. And whenever they do want to reach out, typically it's going to be about money. And so when they do that, it's a simple no for me. I don't tell people no because I don't lie and say I don't have it and stuff like that. I just say no. And that is a constructive eviction. Let me get over here. I think I saw something else. Ask the Lord to send someone I can help that needs it and a friend. The next day, a new girl got hired and she likes me. I like the attention because I'm single, but I know it's not right. Yeah, and so what you have to do is you have to pray because just like you ask the Lord, the enemy can hear you. And so just because somebody popped up after a prayer doesn't mean that God sent them. Sometimes people can pop up after a prayer and it could be the enemy sending them. The enemy does answer prayers as well, especially if you prayed it out loud and he heard it. He will answer a prayer. And a lot of times we'll think it's God. I've been there before. And so what you have to do is, just be friendly, be nice, be cordial, pray about it, and take your time. Test the spirit out. Get to know her as a person. And, that way you'll know if God sent her because you shall know them by their fruit. That way you'll know if God sent her or if the enemy sent her into your life. I love this when you said I have to start at 3 months, but come at me hard. Yes. For me, I think I always get excited, and thank you guys for everybody that's registered. You guys rock. But I think for me, that's how my heart is. It's like I'm not willing to be stuck. I'm just not willing. Hi, Sister Tiffany. Hope you enjoyed your birthday. I did. I went and got a pedicure for my birthday. Oh, I knew it was something I want to show y'all. This is the young lady that's in my mentorship. This is her card game and the mentorship she created. She's revising it because she hasn't been too happy with it. She was telling me that she, feel like she made some mistakes with it. But I was like, well, go back and revise it, and have it reprinted or what have you. And she's a very humble young woman. She's, like I said, just 21 years old. She's in her early 20s, I think. But this is the young lady I reached out to the other day, and I said, hey, I want you to walk closer. I want you to walk closer because she's so dedicated. She's so humble. She's so, asking questions and what have you. She's hungry. And as a mentor, we look for those type of things. We look for hungry people. One of the things we don't pour too much into is entitled people and what have you. So she created her card game. And that's one of the things we'll be doing. I also wanted to make sure I mentioned this when it comes to the mentorship. One of the things, I'm going to get to your question, Sister Bean, but one of the things that we will be doing in the mentorship, so that you guys know, for those of you who register, especially standard and premium, you guys will be working with me in Anointed Fire magazine, meaning I may have you publishing articles or doing interviews. Because one of the things I want to do is challenge you to come outside of your comfort zone. A lot, I can't even, to me, it surprises me how many people say they don't know who they are, they don't know their calling, or people who feel like they're stupid. It surprises me, it shocks me when I come across people who don't feel like they have anything to offer. And so one of the things I do is I challenge women. I bring them outside of their comfort zone because I want you to know that that's not the truth. There was a lady I spoke with couple of years ago. She was in my music video, as a matter of fact. I spoke to her, and she does, song. She teaches people song. I mean, not teaches song. She teaches people how to sing. What is that called? But she's a voice coach or what have you. I think that's what you call it. And so she asked me, she said, do you sing? And I told her, I said, no, I don't know how to sing. And I was sitting there talking to her, and I said, no, I don't know how to sing. And I remember while I was talking, I was still in the middle of talking. She said, lie. It's a lie. And I was like, hello? And she was like, yeah, I'm here. And I was surprised that she said, vocal coach, thank you. But I was surprised that she said that's a lie. But then she explained it to me. She said, everybody has the ability to sing, but, a lot of times something has happened with their voices or what have you. And she says she's coached many people that thought they couldn't sing, and she's helped them to find their voice. So it's not that they can't sing. It's just that they don't know where their voice is. So she called it a lie. What she was telling me was that the enemy had been lying to me. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, let me get here. Oh, congratulations on your nephew. I'm going up here because I feel like I skipped some questions. I asked the Lord to send someone I can help that needs it. Okay, I read that. I have to start at 3 months, but yes, amen. That is shocking not to understand that. Hey, Sister Tiffany, hope you understand. Yes, awesome. Thank you. I learned it the hard way. Never again. No more ungodly men. I tell you, that was the lesson for me. At the round 2, I was like, Lord, you ain't gotta. And I think God, we're made in His image, and because we're made in His image, then I know He has a sense of humor, and so I'm pretty sure He probably just really laughed at me. When I was married that second time, I know He was cracking up at me because I was coming to Him like, okay, all right, I ain't gonna do it no more. All right, no more sex before marriage. I promise you. Get me out of this. No more sex before marriage. Then I come at him another day. You ain't got to worry about me kissing. You ain't got to worry about me kissing. He knows exactly the amount of pressure that you need to get free. And to this day, I still crack up when I think about it. He knows the amount of pressure that we all need to get free. And so ungodly men, they don't have a chance with me. Not a chance. Not in hell, not in heaven. They ain't got a chance with me. As soon as they talking about some, I go to church. I believe in a man or say, do you? No, no. I believe in you. You getting away from me. I ain't about to do it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I love it when we have to get to that point. My thing is, like, I come on here and I'm teaching or what have you, but I want y'all to hear my heart. I'm not teaching for anything. I'm not teaching because I don't have anything else to do, because I have a ton of things. Like right now, I have a ton of things I can be working on. But I come out and I teach because I have a passion. I have a desire to see change. I have a real passionate desire to see people getting up. And I think it's because one of the main reasons is because of the spectrum I've lived on. Because I was in the deep, dark grosses of the pit. And God delivered me to where I am now. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm still in awe of that. When I look at how far God brought me, I'm still in awe. And that showed me that God can take somebody who is completely and utterly a mess and do something amazing with them. When you see that in your life, and so God has allowed me to mentor and coach people and to help them to get from a mess and become great, powerful, amazing women of God. And so after you've lived that and after you've helped others, the passion just keeps growing. For me, my passion can be misinterpreted. Like, my passion is to see people get developed and get changed. I get frustrated, on the other hand, when I see stuck people. I get frustrated when people are I'm gonna tell you, like, I get frustrated when I see people who will stay stuck for $20, or they'll stay stuck because they're trying to hold on to their money. Like, they'll stay stuck, and to be honest with you, it puts me in awe. I literally look at people like that in awe, like, so you would really much rather go and pay for a couple of outfits to wear in your seasons of bondage than to invest in freedom. You're going to look good in bondage. You would really much rather go and invest. My passion is taking a person who is a mess and helping them to go and become a testimony. But at the same time, the person, of course, has to want it. The person has to say, hey, look, um, I want what's on your life. I want to start my own blog. I want to start my own business. I want to have my own card game. I want to have my own books. I want to be developed. I want to learn how to get away from narcissistic people. I want to learn how to discern the spirit. You have to learn. And these are things we're going to be offering in the program. But you have to learn. You have to want that. You have to hunger for that. You have to hunger. Like, for me, I think one of the reasons I appreciate my leaders so much is because my season of not having leadership was a drought for me. And so I hungered for that. I wanted somebody to tell me, don't do that. I wanted somebody to tell me, Tiffany, that's a mistake. I wanted somebody to tell me, Tiffany, that person, that's a witch. That's not a prophet. That's a witch. I wanted somebody to tell me that. But I didn't have somebody to tell me that. And so now that I do, I'm just excited because I have that mentorship. I have that coaching. And so I want to make sure that I'm offering that to others. I want to make sure that the Tiffany's, the Tiffany Juniors out there, that say, hey, look, I want to sit up here. I want to, go out here. I want to do great things. I want to get away from narcissistic controlling people. I want to own my own business. I want to have products on the market and stuff like that. I want to do all of those things, and I don't have anybody that's developing me, anybody coaching me. Whenever I'm unsure about a decision, I want to be able to submit that to somebody and say, "Hey, this is what I'm going through." I want to be able to offer that to people. I want to make sure that I'm able to offer that and say, "Hey, this is what you need to do that, and hey, take that and don't do that." I want to be able to offer that to people. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Give me a second. Let me go. There are a lot of older women this way, and it's disturbing. There are different things behind that because I have been there for time too, feeling stuck and feeling that's what God wanted. Yeah, I don't remember what that was about, but I remember something about the conversation. Yeah, you put rules down, it gets narcissistic people far away from you. Rules are protectors. Guidelines are protectors. If you ever wanted to get narcissistic, controlling, manipulative people out your life, set some rules and set some guidelines. You can sit back and say, hey, bro, you can't talk to me about sex. I don't want to hear about that. And it'll cause that guy to flee out of your life. And I'm telling you, I love it. I don't get mad. Please leave. Please leave. Please leave out of my life. Um, Even like you guys notice on this channel, every once in a while I have people commenting foolish things that go against what I teach. And I have rules on it. If I'm going to sit back and I'll say something about it. So I'm drawing a line around this channel. I'm drawing a boundary around this channel and saying, hey, take that demonic stuff somewhere else, because you're not going to do that on this channel. You can take that somewhere else. If you bound and broken, you want to stay there, that's your business. But you're not about to start weaving all the other women up on this, or what have you. But when you do that, then they'll go away. And I don't mind. I want them to go away. Either get healed, get whole, and get delivered, or go. I want them to go that way, um, because I've come to understand you can only help people who want to be helped. And when somebody already has their mind made up, you can't teach them nothing. You can't teach them nothing. A few years ago, I felt my ring finger tingling, and I felt I was someone's wife. This happened multiple times. I don't know if the man I was supposed to marry was praying for me. What can I do about it now? I want you to hear me, and I want everyone on here to hear me about this. 9 times out of 10, that had nothing to do with your husband. That was a spirit husband. Whenever I'm doing deliverance, whenever I do mass deliverance, that's one of the most common spirits that is cast out of women, is the spirit husband. It's so common that most women don't even realize that they have it. Um, so just a little insight behind the spirit husband. Spirit husband will never allow you to stay married. They will try to keep everybody out of your life. They're very jealous spirits. Of course, there are spirit spouses. There's spirit wife for the man, spirit husband for the woman. One of the indicators that you have a spirit husband is typically dreams of you getting married. If you have a dream where you're getting married, especially to a faceless person, dreams where somebody's having sex with you, um, reproductive issues, those are issues. A lot of times fibroids are a manifestation of that. Not going to say 100% of the time that it's fibroids, but sometimes fibroids are a manifestation of that. But anytime you're dealing with stuff like that, chances are it's a spirit husband. And whenever you have a spirit husband, sometimes you can sense a ring on your finger. You can feel it. And for us, for the most part, when we sense it, we're just like, yay, God is sending the man of God. But it could be a spirit husband. But the spirit husband is going to keep the man of God away. Because God can't send a man, because God looks and says, well, daughter, you're already married. Um, and even though God is not, wanting you to be married to that spirit, it's a spiritual thing. And so you have to divorce the spirit husband. And not only the spirit husband, but you have to divorce the ways. Because when people need deliverance, most of the time they have ways that they picked up from that spirit. Because spirits have patterns, they have rhythms, they have certain movements, or what have you. And so people tend to pick it up. And when I say patterns, I'm talking about things like if it's a spirit of lust, then somebody's going to start struggling with lust. And when they start struggling with lust, even though it's not necessarily demonically influenced, in some cases it's such a law in their members, in their flesh, that they're always going to struggle with lust. Even when you cast a demon out, they'll still be dealing with lust. And so what has to happen is their minds have to change. Oh, you're most welcome. So look into that, and make sure you guys get a deliverance every quarter. That's another thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned. For those of you who register for Esther Prep University, that's amazing. We're gonna do quarterly deliverance. Quarterly deliverance, and let me tell you, I think this is important for me to mention, because I was thinking about this earlier. For those of you who are booking me every quarter for deliverance, for coaching and deliverance, you're paying pretty much the same thing. You're getting much more. So your best out is to just go ahead and register. So if you're gonna be doing that, I was speaking to someone today, and I was telling her, I said, hey, you might as well register for Esther Prep University. And this is the Wifeable Mentorship. For those of you who don't know, under Esther Prep, you will find Wifeable. There'll be different parts of marriage of Esther Prep University. I think that was a homosexual related question, I assume, because that person's name is Naya. I could be wrong though. I don't know. To test what spirit. Well, I mean, I see the word Naya and her saying her, but I can't necessarily say because it could be short or something. Of course, anybody on this channel knows that when it comes to homosexuality, I don't teach. That's a sin within itself. Okay, I'll answer that in a minute. Okay, questions you can ask to test the spirit are you just really get to know people. Where are you in Christ Jesus? I think it's the first question. What church do you go to? Who's your pastor? How often do you go to church? Um, Most of it is observation. It's not necessarily questions. You can ask some questions, but most of it is observation. And so you observe them. You observe their movements, you observe their habits, their patterns. Um, let's say it's a guy who has children. So I can observe how he treats his child's mother. I can observe how he treats his mother. I can observe how he is with life. I can observe his character. Let's just say him and I are walking and a woman up ahead of us drops $100 bill. I can observe his character because if he goes and picks it up and he says, I'm breaking up with him. He keeps it to himself, I'm breaking it up. I'm breaking up with him because his character is flawed. And so it's mostly observation. The website has all different levels and prices. Yeah, I want to make sure I'm going to go to the website and make sure I give clarity. I may do a video or something like that to give you guys clarity. My testimony is throughout my books, I think. The how much is it? Okay, I'm gonna post the link again, and I'm gonna give you guys a description of the classes again. So I just post the link again, and I'll get back up to your questions. Because a lot of people are getting confused with it. So if you go to the link, you'll notice I have starter packages, standard packages, and premium packages. The mentorship is 1 year long. So the goal is to register for a year, but I know that some people probably can't afford to register upfront for a year. So I try to offer increments that you can register for. So if you order the starter package, you can do the first 3 months for $149. So you're registering in increments. But at the end of that, you would have to register again. You would have to pay another $149 to register for 3 more months. And then at the end of that, you'll pay another $149. But of course, you save money if you did $499 up front, which is the entire year for the starter. So let me look at the price. So if you did 149 times 4 is 596. So you save $97 by registering for that mentorship for the year. But if you can't afford it, then you can do 3-month increments, and you can see the differences in the packages. Starter has mentorship, classroom access, and classroom access means you're going to be on a message board. We'll likely probably be on Thinkific, or if we're not on Thinkific, either way, we're going to be on Facebook. We're going to have a Facebook group, and that's the message board access, and then we'll have group counseling. So, and then of course you'll be accountable, have your homework assignments and stuff like that. That's a starter package. But you graduate at the end of the year. Your goal is to register for the year. Your goal is to register for the year. But if you can't afford to register for the year, you can go ahead and do, let's say, 6 months. If you can afford to do 6 months, then you go ahead and register for 6 months. And then as soon as you can afford, you go ahead and register for the rest. The standard package comes with classroom access, message board access, group counseling, EPU library. The EPU library is going to be a library of audio messages that I'm going to be constantly putting up. If you know anything about me, I'm constantly teaching. So I'll be constantly putting up messages in the library, meaning I'll be recording and, messages, and like my mentorship now, sometimes they'll ask questions on the message board to me, and I'll record an audio message as a response to give them, instruction. They'll say, hey, my auntie or my cousin or my dad or my mom did this, or they said this. And so what should I do in a situation like that? And so like this, I'll come and I'll answer it. Wifeable mentor ebook participation. This is for the standard wifeable ebook participation. Um, I forgot to mention this. Every person who registers is going to, at the end of the class, be an author. At the end of the year, every person who registers for standard or above, at the end of the year, you're going to be a co-author. So what we're going to do is we're going to document our journey. We're going to document our journey as we go along, the feelings, the raw emotions every month. Every student will have the homework assignment of writing a report, just writing down things that you struggle with in a month, almost like journaling. And so, of course, nothing that you don't want to be public. We're going to bring all of that stuff together into a book. It's going to be a pretty decent sized book. And so every person who is a part of the mentorship is going to be a part of the Wifeable ebook. And that's going to be published before graduation. And then this particular one, standard package, it has access to a trade, of course, a trade of choice. And so that is either you can go into one of the Remnant Writers class, which is a 5-week class that I charge $99 for. You can take the Remnant Writers class to learn how to write a book in 5 weeks. You can take that and finish your book. You can take the Remnant Editors class if you say, hey, I want to either edit my books or I want to learn to edit professionally so I can make money. You can take the Remnant Editors class. You can take the Marriage Prep University class. If you decide, hey, I want to take Marriage Prep, you can take Life University. Or you can take Managing Devilish People. That's for those of you who are dealing with narcissistic people, constantly dealing with spiritual things. Managing Devilish People teaches you how to have relationships with broken folks and create boundaries. Deliverance Prep University. So that helps you, when it comes to the realm of deliverance, you learn a little bit about deliverance and how to cast demons out of yourself and how to discern them. And so you have access to one of those classes, whichever one that you choose to access. Then the last one is a premium. And the difference with that is you get all of that, including a Wifeable t-shirt. You'll have a t-shirt that says, I am wifeable. One-on-one session quarterly, meaning one-on-one, like we have group counseling, but you'll have one-on-one individual counseling with me every quarter. So that's 4 times in a year. And let me show you how that works out, because I charge $99 an hour for that. If people, and I do have people who book me every quarter, they literally book me every quarter for counseling and, to maybe get some deliverance. And so that totals out to what? $396, I would say. Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure. $99. And most of the time they book me for more than 4 hours, $396. So I was saying to a lady today, hey, you can get into the program. Because a lot of times they'll book me for 2 hours at a time or what have you. So you can get into the program and you can get that. So they'll get one-on-one and then access to 3 trade classes. I'm actually going to change that to 5 trade classes. This is for the premium intensive. And then I'll be adding stuff along. So I want you to hear me, like even the stuff I'm offering right now is just stuff I'm talking about, but I'm going to be adding more to it. If y'all know anything about me, I like to fatten people up. I'm going to be adding more to it. And at the same time, you'll have the accountability. You'll have a form that you can fill out and say, hey, this is where I am. Hey, I'm dealing with depression today. Hey, I met a guy. Hey, I'm questioning. This guy said the guy said I'm his wife. Hey, I don't know what I should do. And so you'll have a form that you can fill out and say, hey, I'm having an emergency in life or what have you. And for that, if you have one-on-one, we can do the one-on-one session. If you didn't register for premium, then we can deal with that in a group session, or in a lot of cases, it's kind of like what I do with my mentees now. I'll just actually come and maybe go live, and I'll talk about it and say, hey, if you're dealing with these type of issues, this is how you rectify that. Okay, let me get back in here. My testimony is scattered throughout books. Yeah, I don't think I've ever really shared my testimony in its fullness. I think it's scattered. Hebrews, I love it. Hebrews Coffee House. I got my LLC for when I need the next step. Yes, definitely get into the mentorship, because I'm going to be raising up entrepreneurs in this mentorship. If you know me, I said that to my pastor on yesterday. I am passionate about the marketplace. I love marketplace. I want to raise women up in the marketplace. That's the reason why, like I said, I gave my students that assignment to create a card game. Yeah. Okay. I gave the students an assignment to create a card game. Let me see. I'll answer her in a second. How do you set boundaries with your mother and father who want to choose a spouse for you? Oh, no. And tell them to back off. My mother prays for me for a certain guy that I don't want, and he has made it clear. You have to tell them, no, I'm not marrying him, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I think the problem with establishing boundaries, one of the reasons people have a tendency to fail at setting boundaries is that they keep a conversation that they ended with a no open by arguing. Sorry, guys, I just heard something at my back door. It could be an animal. But they keep a conversation that was, they keep a conversation. Like, for example, if I was talking to a parent and I said, hey, like my dad, he doesn't do this, thank God, but like my dad, if my dad was to call and say, hey, I got this guy named Jack, and I think he's a good guy for you and what have you. And he's like, I want you to check him out. And I said, Dad, I'm not interested. I saw his picture, not feeling him or what have you. And he says, well, no, I'm going to put you with him. I think you should be good or what have you. Right then and there, you're coming against my will. Now we got a problem. And so from there, I will have a discussion with him. I have one conversation. This is my belief. This is how I do things. I have one conversation with him about that. I'll say, listen, I've already told you I don't want this guy. Let's leave that alone. I don't want to hear about him anymore. I don't want to discuss him anymore. I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm not interested in him. For me, that ends it. I just put a period there, not a comma. That ends it. From that point on, if I go around my dad, if I'm sitting in his house or what have you, and he says, Jack called, I get up and leave. I would get up and leave. From that point on, I'm out. I wouldn't argue about it. I won't say, what? See, I keep telling you. But, baby, you don't understand. No, I keep telling you. I think that's where people make the mistake. I don't do that. I'm not going to sit back and say, okay, I was trying to see. This is weird. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit back and have a conversation about something I put a period at the end of. I'm not going to sit back and say, I keep telling you, you don't like to respect my boundaries. As soon as I'll be sitting up there just like this, and he says, hey, what about, and I'm gone. And I would constantly do that. If we're on the phone, he says, yeah, Jack is coming over. I'll call you back. Right then and there, I'm ending it every time. As a matter of fact, not only will I end that conversation, but I probably won't come around as much. It's not to punish him. It's because I have to keep my peace. Because I'm like, I've already said this. I made it clear. You obviously don't honor me. You don't respect me or what have you. At some point, they'll get the message. At some point, he'll catch on like, she doesn't like that. And I've done that with my family. I'll say no about something and they'll keep trying to push it and I shut it down. So that's all you have to do. And pray against it. Pray against it, because when you pray against the will of another human being, it becomes a witchcraft prayer. So just pray for God to keep you for the one that he has for you. When I literally tried to leave a man one time, nothing that I said could get him gone. It's like he became a real stalker and kept saying, baby, it's me and you. Over he ended up in jail. Yeah, and you can be ended up in relationships with needy people. There's a science to relationships. A lot of times, what we end up doing is, okay, I'll say this: when I was in the world, I had I always seemed to attract men that stalked me. I mean, it was a rare thing that I attracted a guy. Like, I rarely ever had a problem where, like, the problems most women had, I didn't have. Most women had a problem like a guy come use and get what he want and he gone about his business. That wasn't my story. You know, when I was in the world, my story was I sure knew how to pick him. You know, I knew how to pick him. I didn't like the cocky guy. I still don't understand women who like those guys to this day. I didn't like the cocky guy. I didn't, the guy like, yo, give me your number. All that. I didn't like him. I always knew, like, I always liked the guys that really liked me. Like the guys that were really into me, the guys that would just, what have you. But I would oftentimes end up in relationships with people that um ended up stalking me. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what was attached to my life or what have you. And my friends used to ask me, Tiffany, what in the world? And eventually, I got saved and I still didn't understand it. But when I got into spirituality, I came to understand the spiritual side of it. And I came to understand too, it was just I knew how to pick them. What was in me knew how to pick the right one, knew how to pick certain types. So there were certain characteristics, certain traits that I look for in a guy. And so yeah, it's you have to look at, look within. And I think a lot of women have to get free from some stuff so they can stop attracting certain spirits to themselves. Didn't mean to offend anyone. Can someone please pray for me? I don't want cancer or sickness. I know I wander from church and fail the spiritual fight. I am single and no children. If you've never been diagnosed with cancer, pray against the spirit of fear. Pray against the spirit of fear. Get back into church, pray, and all you do is just repent and start over, reset. Don't overthink it. You don't have to beat yourself up. I want you to hear me when I say this. Beating yourself up doesn't make God say, okay, I see you really mean that you're sorry. You just have to really hit reset and go back into church, pray, renounce the spirit of fear. And you don't say, I don't want to get cancer. Say, I will not get cancer. Isaiah 53:5 says, he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripes, we are healed. So I declare Isaiah 53:5 over my life, and everything that tries to come in contrary to that is illegal. I want nothing to do with sickness and disease in Jesus' name. So you got to speak to that thing in authority. Yesterday, you talked about praying. Warfare in your sleep. That used to happen to me before my wilderness season. After I went into a cave, felt crazy, and then downward spiral. Don't hear God like I used to. Doesn't mean I'm backslidden. Backslidden is just going back into sin. For the most part, the way that it looks is that most of the time we're ascending. We're ascending and descending. And life really genuinely looks like a mountain. If you looked at it spiritually, it looks like a mountain. We're either going up or we're going down. We're going up or we're going down. You're going to make me draw again. I just started cleaning off my desk and I got it looking somewhat decent. Okay. Oh, I found another notebook. Hallelujah. This one's almost empty. Well, praise the Lord, it is empty. All right, let me show you something. Oh, Jesus. Okay, let me start this over. All right, let's start this over. All right. Okay, I want to show you what happens with the average person. This is what life looks like if you were to look at it spiritually. It looks like a pyramid, or it looks like a mountain. You got ground zero, level one, level two, level three, level four, level five. Level five. You got all these levels. A generational curse is being stuck on a level. For the most part, it's usually being stuck at ground zero. To be stuck at ground zero, now let me give you a description of a generational curse. A generational curse is not black magic substance that's hovering over your head and demons holding your feet down. That's not what a generational curse is. A generational curse is just lacking information. The way that the will is set up is that the will is strong or is weak. A person who's never exercised their will, that means they've never gotten past temptation. They don't push themselves past temptation. Instead, they're always giving in to their feelings. They feel like I want to go off, I'm going off. They feel like I want to have sex, I'm having sex. They feel like I want to do this, they're going to have weak will. So they don't have information, and because they have weak will, temptation is stronger than they are. And so they're always falling into temptation. And so a generational curse is being born to a person like that because they don't have it. They don't have it to give to you. So now you end up coming up without information or revelation. And then the community that they're living in, chances are, is going to be ground zero as well. It's going to be a camaraderie of people who have no revelation, who have no information. If consequently, financially, they're broke. They're dealing with a bunch of perversion. They're dealing with a bunch of issues. And so that's going to be the ghetto of sorts. So the average person is on ground zero. This is where most of us, give me a second, guys. My little sister's writing me to me. Give me a second. But this is where the average one of us are. We're on ground zero. That's a generational curse is typically being stuck on ground zero. It's like, I'll say, for example, my family. The generational curse in my family is they didn't know how to get past not just sexual perversion, but idolatry was a major thing in my family. So in my family, a lot of times they would get into relationships, and myself included, would get into a relationship and did not know how to get out of it. Would just, for me, it's crazy when I was single. Like if I dated somebody, I could dump you. And it was, but marriage was I think that was when it got me. That's when it became a stronghold for me. And so the people in my family, they get into a relationship with somebody toxic and they hold on for dear life. And a lot of times they lose their lives consequently trying to hold on to those people. And so it's just this generational curse of people being at the bottom dealing with perversion. And so what you see this right here is just going around the mountain. Ground zero. And a lot of times people who are on ground zero, they believe they're ascending. They convince themselves that they're ascending, but they're not going anywhere. They're just going around in circles. They're going around in circles. And the way that Satan keeps them going around in circles is he'll tell them, just go around one more time. It's going to be that, this is going to happen. That's going to change. That he's going to change or she's going to change. And so they believe that. And every time they get to the point where they're ready to give up and say, you know what, I'm about to change my life, then they'll see a flicker of hope. And that's how the enemy does. That's what he did to me. You'll see this flicker of hope or what have you. Okay, and so that's ground zero. Whenever you start going to level one, you got to have a leader. Otherwise, you'll go around, but you'll think you're going up. You should have a leader. You should have a pastor or what have you, so that you can go up the mountain. You can head up the mountain. You're going to have to go to level one. When you go to level one, you're not necessarily away from ground zero, because at that stage, you're not too far away from where you came from. You can just let yourself fall or what have you. People fall back into sin. People fall back into what they know, because when you start to elevate that mountain, it gets more and more narrow as you go up it. That means that first and foremost, it's going to be difficult, but at the same time, it's less and less people that I can relate to. Like, you're constantly going through transitions, you're constantly going through changes. You constantly, like when I was going through all these different transitions and stuff, I found myself curled up in the bed, and I'm not even a sensitive person. But I'm sensitive to God, but I'm not sensitive like crying and all that. But I found myself in my bed crying, like, oh, I'm tired. Lord, I'm tired. What is going on? And what have you, because I was constantly going through transitions. And as I was going through transitions, so many people were falling away out of my life. The average Christian meets, marries, has children on ground zero. The average Christian is going to stay right there on ground zero. That's the average Christian. I know it looks crazy. Yeah, I wrote that real crazy. But the average Christian is going to stay on ground zero. Some people, a lot of Christians, they'll get off ground zero, they'll get to level 1, and they think that's good enough. And that's when they start dealing with pride. Pride goes before destruction, and holiness before fall. They feel like, I got out the ghetto, so I'm in the lower part of the middle class. And so they feel like I've made it, I've arrived in life. And so because of that, they'll settle down, buy a house there. And they just settle their lives. They don't try to learn anything more, because going up that mountain requires, I got some friends. I really like them. I got some, I really like where I am right now. But going up that mountain requires constantly making a sacrifice. And that's why, as you start to ascend, it's going to get narrower and narrower. More narrow. Let's say that, more narrow. It'll get more and more narrow as you go up the mountain, which means that there are going to be so many people that are going to fall away out of your life. There are going to be less people that you can relate to. Your mind's going to be constantly changing. It's just a constant thing that happens in your life. And by the time you get to level 3, level 4, and 5, most people are just like, at level 3, I think you'll get to the point where you're just pretty much like, I give up. I'm going back down. Or you're going to say, I've come this far. Me, I'm that person that said, I've already come this far. I'm going to keep going. Ain't no sense in me turning back, But the average person, and on any level, you can get stuck going around. You can get on level 3 and start going around. That's a cycle. That means that right now, I'm no longer ascending. I'm just going around in circles. I'm just moving around because I've gotten comfortable, or I've gotten confused, or something like that, or I've partnered up with somebody that I should have partnered up with. So let me see your question again. You said, yeah, so you say you don't hear God like you used to. So you're probably on a level and stuck. So now you're just going around. And so what you want to do is set up a meeting probably with your pastor to find out, because it may be something God told you to do. In order for you to get off that level, you have to sacrifice. You got to do what God told you. Maybe he told you to write a book. So you have to do what he told you to do in order to get off of that level. And if you don't do it, then you'll find yourself going in cycles and circles and stuff. I don't want to be harsh. Okay, let me just move on. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Sister J signed up. I can't wait for you guys. Awesome. See, we have somebody else that signed up. Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love to see women saying, hey, I want the next level. I love to see. So, guys, make sure that you are signing up. Definitely. And listen, if you can't afford to sign up today, I'm going to post it back the link again. Make sure you sign up today. If you can't afford to sign up today, sign up today. The reason I say that is because I know how it is when it comes to the enemy. He'll try to find some type of way to occupy your mind, or even occupy your finances to keep you from signing up. Oh no, trust me, boundaries make you sound mean. When I release my book on boundaries, um, y'all gonna laugh. But boundaries make people say that you're controlling. When you start setting boundaries, people who are not used to it, they're gonna say you're controlling or you're mean, you're this. But that's not the case. It's just um, if you want to grow anything in your life of value, you have to set boundaries. God, there are some things God will not give you until you have boundaries set. And a lot of times people who have no boundaries, they won't understand that, and they're gonna think like you're being mean and you just don't understand. But you literally have to put boundaries around your life. You got to put boundaries around your life to have peace. You know how many people don't have boundaries, and but they're still chasing peace, and they're just like, I'm just tired of going through this. I'm just tired. I'm tired of this, and I'm tired of that. And I'm like, well, that's great, but you're gonna have to put some boundaries up in your life. And if you don't put any boundaries up in your life, you're going to constantly keep going through that. So if you don't want to constantly keep going through that, um, I admonish you to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries in your life. And you have to be willing to lose people. That's the thing. I think for the most part, the average person is not willing to lose people. That's what gets them in trouble. They're not willing to watch people walk out of their lives and stuff. But any person who is great in the earth, who does anything amazing in the earth, any person who starts to dominate, they had to set boundaries. They had to set them. And they had to make that sacrifice. Boundaries cause you to lose people. They had to make the sacrifice, and people will make you feel bad about setting them. And before they walk out your life, they just like, I can't even believe you doing this or what have you. And then you'll find seasons where you don't have people around you and stuff. But I'm gonna tell you something. Peace will hit you. And like for me, when peace hit me, I'm in Atlanta. But when peace hit me, when I got used to peace, if you ain't used to peace, you ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. But to my sisters out there that have experienced it, dude, I love my peace so much. Anybody that threatens my peace, bye. I love peace. I love having peace in my life. Me having boundaries, I have peace. I come home, peace. I just have peace. And so for me, that excites me. That peace excites me. Whenever I meet chaotic people, and I've met chaotic people, I've met dramatic people who, they wanted to just bring drama. I'm like, man, they don't even know. I don't even take that off my family. You cannot come and take my peace from me. You can't take my peace. And so once you get used to peace, you won't let people take it from you. Once you get used to peace, when somebody comes up and they try to take it, you like, bro, there's the door out of my life right there. Sis, I'm done. I'm done. Right. You hear from him so clearly. I'm telling you, I can, and sometimes it's weird. I think I want y'all to hear me. I think for those of us who are not used to having it, it's so weird at first. It's so weird at first. When you first start getting peace, it's like, what is this? What is this feeling? Like, what? I ain't got nobody yelling at me. I ain't trying to check up behind nobody. I ain't frustrated. And then you go to feeling like something wrong with you. You start feeling some type of way. But God knows that's just a season. At some point, you adjust. Now, there are some people who never allow themselves to adjust. When they start getting peace, what they do is they'll go find something chaotic. They'll go find somebody chaotic. They'll go into another relationship because they don't like peace. But they don't like hearing their own voice. They don't like hearing there's just too much silence. They don't like it. But I got peace, and it's like I sit back and I'm just like literally, I will go up in my room some days. I'll go up in my room, lay in my bed. I'll do some work or what have you. I'll go in my room, lay in my bed, and just lay there. And I don't think y'all know how precious that moment is to me. I would just go in there and lay in the bed. I ain't on social media or nothing. I'm just laying there, and just in my thoughts or what have you, or just absorbing, just taking in the peace. It is something about peace. For those of you who, and I really want to say this, I really want to say this because I feel led to say this. There's some of you on here, you don't know peace. You've always lived a chaotic life. You don't think God can do much of anything for you because you're such a mess. You tried to change, you tried to do this, but you've constantly kept finding you can get peace. You can get it. Your life is no different than what mine was. Mine was just chaotic. Mine was just noise everywhere. I had planned out my life. I thought that I had settled with having the husband, the babies, and the house. That was the plan for my life. For me, I'm gonna tell you, I love this about God. He had put so much in me. He's like, that ain't going to waste, man. I didn't put way too much in you to watch that go to waste. And it's the same thing for some of you. That's why you deal with so much chaos in your life. You need somebody to develop you. For me, in peace, I started discovering who I am. And I am still in the stage of gift discovery. I'm still discovering gifts I have. And it amazes me because as I'm discovering them, I'm like, oh, I can do that and I can do it well. It amazes me, and it makes me love peace all the more because, yes, seek peace and pursue it. But it makes me love peace all the more because I can sit up and decide, hey, I want to try my hand at this, and chances are I'm going to be excellent at it. I ain't got nobody yelling at me. I ain't got nobody questioning me. I ain't got none of that. Peace is such an amazing, amazing thing to have. Let me go up here where, okay. Yeah, boundaries are beautiful. Very important. There was a woman, I believe she was assaulted. The guy was making advances, and she said, no, the guy assaults her. And he said it wasn't a strong no. Anyone heard that story? No, and it's actually not uncommon. As a matter of fact, one of the things I want to deal with, one of the things I'm going to deal with in the mentorship, y'all know, I will talk to you about sex. Um, I had a sister in Christ, a friend of mine, some years ago when I was living in Mississippi. Me and her, this was somebody that I had met, and we were walking all the time. She had a teenage daughter. Teenage daughter had gotten pregnant, and she was really mad at her daughter. And I said, hey, wait, before you get mad at her, have you talked to her? And, she was like, it was a mistake and all that. And she was like, hey, mistake. I said, wait, before you get mad at her. And so, because her daughter was trying to describe what happened to her, it was just me and this guy kissing. And then, next thing you know, and I told him no and all that. And I told her the most common form of rape that goes unreported and unnoticed. And many of you have actually been through this form of rape. It typically happens, especially the 16-year-olds, 20 up to about 24 years old. It typically starts off as kissing. And a lot of times it's you when you're wearing a skirt or a dress. But this is one of the most common forms of rape. It starts off as kissing. And then it continues into a deep kiss. And even though you start feeling some type of way, like, wait, this is going a little too far, and you try to pull back and he's just pulling you back to him. The next thing you know, you find yourself lying on the couch with the guy on top of you. And you tell him, no, no, he's like, no, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to do anything. So he keeps reassuring you, and he's on top of you, kissing you. And y'all are kissing or what have you, but you're trying to be careful because you already made it up in your mind. I don't want to have sex. There are virgins who've lost their virginity like this. Some of you are virgins who lost or were virgins who lost your virginity like that. And the guy is on, and then he starts grinding. And you like, wait, stop, what you doing? And he's just like, nothing much or what have you. So if next thing you know, what ends up happening is the kissing to keep going, and then the man will, the woman feel the man's hand or what have you, and he'll insert himself. And the woman is saying, no, 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 stop. And then within 30 seconds, he's done. Or he'll say, okay, since you don't want to go that far. But he's finished. He's not going to tell you he's finished. But he'll just say, okay, since you don't want to go that far. Since you're uncomfortable or what have you, I'm not going to go. But in all out honesty, he finished. He got, so the whole event of kissing and the grinding, he was already in the rhythm. So once he did the other part, he was already at the edge, and so he was able to finish in a matter of seconds. And I told her, I said, have you discussed with her? And I think, and I want to say this to y'all because some of y'all got teenage daughters. You need to talk to them about that. Most of us never talk to our kids about sex. You need to talk to them about that to help them to understand that if you say, I want to remain a virgin, you have, first and foremost, it's not good to engage in kissing. But if you just feel like you cannot, you gonna kiss, you gotta kiss. Um, whenever you go around a guy, try to wear pants. Next, whenever you go around a guy, never allow kissing to get to the point where he's on top of you. I don't care what he says. I don't care if he says, "Babe, I'm just," when you start feeling uncomfortable, you're about to have sex. It's going to go into sex. If you don't say anything, or if you're just like, "Hey, wait, he's gonna do that." And so I said that to her. And if I remember correctly, she went and talked to her daughter, and her daughter said that's exactly what happened. And I told her, I said, you want to know that's actually very common with women? I said, a lot of women are raped that way. I said, it's rape. The woman is laying there and she has it in her mind, we're just kissing and we're not having sex. And she's already told him, she's, stopped him, many a times for trying. And then all of a sudden he gets on top of her. And then all of a sudden he just removes it and puts it in. And women have literally ended up pregnant behind those type of episodes. I had a friend that had that happen to her as a grown woman, and when she was telling me, and I was like, "Oh, child, that's a common event." And I told her the game behind it. I said a lot of guys actually rape women like that, and they actually engage in the rhythms. They get a lot of the pleasure before the insertion, and then by the time they insert, they're already ready to pop. And once that's done, they'll say, and that's a friend of mine. She told me, the guy told her, "Oh, I'm sorry, okay, yes, since you're not comfortable." And she was like, "No, I knew he was done. He was finished." Um, and so you want to, yeah, and so that's actually very common. So women have to be careful. First and foremost, you don't go in a man's house. You don't let him in your house. Kissing. If listen, if I know I'm not gonna put anything in our oven, there's no need for me heating it up. That's just where it's no sense in me getting him aroused. It's no sense of us be kissing on each other, and tongue all down each other's throat, and I know I'm gonna say no behind it. It makes no sense for me to do that kind of stuff. And so women have to be taught that, because a lot of times women, um, they provoke, for lack of a better word, but they provoke a lot of events. Now, rape is never your fault, but a lot of times women they'll keep going, and not everybody has self-control. They'll keep on going and kissing on the guy, what have you, and not everybody has self-control. We can talk about what's right, what's moral, or what have you, but not everybody's a moral person. Not every Christian is moral. And so if you don't understand that, you can end up raped. And like I said, for the most part, a lot of women who end up raped, they don't even know they were raped. A lot of women who end up raped, they get up feeling guilty, like this wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't want this to happen, but it happened and I feel crazy. It happened like under a minute. I don't know what happened or what have you. They end up pregnant, and then the guy dumps them. And it's like they walk around and they're upset and confused or what have you, but they were raped. Yeah, definitely. I don't mind. If you have peace, you will not allow your family to bring drama to you. You'd be like, I love y'all, but I'm going to love you over there. You're going to have to stay over there. I'm going to keep my peace over here, because I'm not about to. Because the reality is, a lot of people are actually acclimated with drama. They're so used to drama, and they don't know how to be in an environment where there is no drama. You invite them into your home, they got to kick something off. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to be. It's just too quiet in here. I've had people say, it's too quiet in your house. They don't know how to deal with that. I'm new to Georgia from Maryland. I reside in Paulding County. I'm searching for a church home. Do you have a recommendation? Yeah, I don't know. I'm still new to Georgia myself. Even though I came here in 2016, I haven't been out that much. Um, of course, I would recommend my church, Embassy Church. I don't know how far that is from you. That's the only thing. So look up Embassy Church International. I think that's an amazing church. Well, I know it's an amazing church because I go there. Check out Embassy. Come check us out. And if you're like 3-4 hours away from us, then let me know what city Paulding County is in. I could probably give you a couple of recommendations. Yeah, don't blame me. I don't think I mind holding hands, but I'm not kissing. Because I know what kissing did to me. And I think every woman has to be honest with herself. I don't think I've ever had a kissing episode that didn't start going to a dark place. I mean, not all of them ended up going there, but I'm saying they start heading that direction. And so, yeah, I took kissing off the table. I'm like, nope. No sense of me getting both of us heated up and then trying to fight it off. Like, can you tell me when you gonna propose, please? Please. Let me know when you gonna propose, because yeah, I'm not doing that. It's also important to have strong fathers in your home to talk to them about boys and sex too. Right. True. But we live in a time now that a lot of daughters don't have father figures. I mean, don't have fathers. So it's always good to have a spiritual father or father figure in a child's life. But also you want to make sure that you're educating them. You never want to allow yourself to be so uncomfortable talking about sex. Like even me as a minister, sometimes that can be considered taboo. A lot of ministers are afraid to deal with the topic of sex. Because they know that there are people out there that be like, it's just women like you. And they'll look at this shirt here that ain't showing nothing and be like, cover your cleavage. And you can't talk about anything, but the world talks about it. And the world will give our children a false education rather than us being able to talk and discuss sex and stuff like that. But it's always good to discuss with children, hey, listen, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And this is some common forms of rape. I think I'm going to do an article. Probably next edition of Anointed Fire magazine. I'll likely do an article and I'll deal with different types of rape that you have to be careful for, because a lot of women have been raped. Many of you on here can probably attest to it. And I know some people on here like, I want to type, but I don't want to type. But you've been raped and you don't necessarily know it, or you're just realizing it listening to this that you were raped or what have you, and it just happened so fast. Because not all rapes are violent, choke you, and no, not all rapes are like that. Some rapes are quick events, and they typically start with kissing. Most rapes, I believe, from non-strangers start with kissing. So you have to be careful that you're not arousing people, because some people have no self-control. So you don't want them aroused. You don't want them aroused. Young girls don't always understand the anatomy, sex drive of their male counterparts or the attitude they have about either. Yeah, and they don't understand. See, a lot of times young girls don't understand. Yeah, they know they raped them. They know, but they try to live in denial about it as well, because young guys, they'll typically tell themselves, well, she provoked me. She kept kissing me, or what have you. And they'll look at the event that led up to it. And so a lot of times they'll think that, that justified what they did. You aroused me. You kept on doing this or what have you. You kept doing this. And so you provoked me. And I had to learn that a lot of guys don't have self-control. And so you don't want to be kissing on them. You don't want to be arousing them. You have to be careful. Oh yeah, I was reading. Young girls don't always understand anatomy, sexuality of their male counterpart. Yeah, and that's why we have to educate them. We have to educate them and let them know, hey, listen, okay, this is what kissing leads to. And if you kiss the guy, he's going to get aroused. And if he gets aroused, all his is going to probably go out the window for a while, because in that moment his focus is on relieving himself. And so he's going to go out all out of his way to make that come to pass, to make that happen. And because you're there kissing on him, he's going to try to find some type of way. And so, you're not ready to have sex, and which you shouldn't be. You need to wait till you're married. Then the best practice is to not engage him like that. Yes, something, we don't even have to just let the young girls know this. Y'all make sure you like in the video. But we need to let the grown women know this. I think more grown women need to know this than kids, because they never learned it as kids. Most grown women think that sex is love. Most grown women, how many Christian women think that if I'm sitting here and if I'm having sex with somebody and he's squealing like a rabid pig about to get slaughtered, and he like, I love you, and he's talking, a lot of women will walk out of that room cocky, thinking, I got that man whipped, I got him locked, and they end up hurt. A lot of women, it's hard for them to forgive, because they genuinely thought that what happened in their bedroom was love. There's women on here right now that are surprised. They genuinely thought that when that man looked them in the eyes and said, I am in love with you, after they had sex, they genuinely believed that was love. On the couch sleep. Yeah, he's on the couch sleep. But they genuinely, it is hard for them. And they'll come and say, he looked me, Sister Tiffany, he looked me square in my eyes and told me he loved me. And I'm like, yeah. A horny man would tell you anything. And sometimes when people, and I've said this to you guys before, sometimes when a guy looks at you and says, hey, I love you, he actually does mean it. He doesn't love you. He's talking about a feeling. He's being genuine. What he's saying is, I'm experiencing something in my head and in my heart right now, and I think it's love. Because he's never experienced love before. He doesn't know love. And so for him, he's talking about dopamine and oxytocin. He's experiencing, all of these neurotransmitters and hormones and stuff like that. He's experiencing that. And for him, he thinks that's love. When he goes home and he can't get you off his mind, he thinks that's love. Half of you on here, you think that's love. When you go and you laying in your bed and you can't stop thinking about him, y'all got ex-boyfriends and you think you ain't never loved that boy and you think you did. Because it's not real love. You're just obsessed. And most of the time, you're not really obsessed with him. You're obsessed with the dream attached to the boy. And so now you over here on his social media page because you can't let go of the dream. Because you refuse to let go of the dream. You're in love with a dream. You're in love with a fantasy. And so one of the things that has to happen is you have to be taught what love is. That's one of the things, like for those of you, and I'm going to keep going back to the mentorship because that was the purpose of the video. For those of you who get into the mentorship, I want you to understand what love is. I want you to understand. And for those of you who have not registered and you think that I'm just going to come to YouTube, you missing out on a lot. Because once I do this mentorship, y'all, I'm probably not going to be on here a lot. I'll be on here, but I won't be on here as much because I'm going to be pouring out in the students. But I'm going to teach love, like real, authentic love, genuine, wholehearted love. I'm going to destroy everything that you thought was love. I'm going to pull it down. If it ain't love, I'm going to destroy it. If it's not love, I'm going to show you, sis. And I'm going to place the link up for the people that are coming in. For those of you who want to register for the mentorship, I'm going to give a quick description of it again before I close. But I'm going to destroy what you thought was love. You were told that was love because your family thought it was love. Most people don't know what love is. Especially, we just got to talking about this. People on ground zero, they don't know love. Most people down here, they don't know love. They have no idea what love is. They have zero idea. They marry down there, they have babies down there, but they don't know what love is. It's not love. It's not love. And because they believe it's love, they spend a lot of years mad and crying and trying to figure out why, this happened to me, but it's not love. When you come to understand what genuine, wholehearted love is, it'll blow your mind. I didn't know what love was growing up. I didn't experience it. And when I got into relationships, I was like everybody else. I was going by that feeling, that real heightened, deep, I can't stop thinking about you feeling. And I was going by that. And so I ended up getting married off of that. I was on that and he was on it. We were both high as a kite. We weren't on no drugs. We were on oxytocin. We got married thinking that, man, we can't stop thinking about each other. And of course, at that time I was a baby in Christ, so I was sexually active. And we can't keep our hands off each other. We need to get married. We have to. We got to make this a lifetime commitment because it wasn't love. It was genuinely not love. Do you know more than 50% of marriages end in divorce? And let me tell you why. Most of them don't love each other. Do you know a lot of marriages stay intact, but they really don't love each other? They made a commitment to stay together because they made a commitment. Most people don't know love. They don't know love, and people are afraid to discover love because when you start discovering love, especially if you're in a relationship, you start realizing. Like I remember I was married, and I started realizing what love was. God started healing me and delivering me, and started feeling my voice, started telling me what love was. That was sobering. I realized this guy don't love me, and it was funny. I was like, and I told him, I said, no, you genuinely, and I can't even get mad at you. You genuinely don't love me. He's like, I do love you. I said, you do not. You do not love me. But that's a very sobering thing. Average person needs to know love um, before they even try to get into a relationship. The average female thinks that she can sex a man into loving her. I can sex him, cook for him, clean for him, be a good woman, and he'll eventually come. You know how many women spend their lives, or they'll spend several years of their lives trying to teach somebody how to love them? You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. You got to learn to love God with your whole heart and then love yourself. He teaches you how to love yourself. Do you ever minister to women in church you attend or direct them to your online resources? No, I like maybe one on one. I've become friends with some of them, and we'll have discussions and stuff like that. But I don't say, "Hey, check out my YouTube channel" or anything like that. I think that's kind of odd. Some people I don't like the whole concept of that. But yeah, I'll minister to the ones like we talk, and when we see each other or what have you, and they'll ask me questions, we'll talk and what have you. I'll minister to them one on one. But as far as saying, hey, come check out my YouTube, no, I don't do that. My dad was in my life, but he didn't want to talk about boys, and he was a pimp and a drug dealer in his younger days. Shaking my head, he knew the game. He had taught me nothing. Yeah, and that's because unfortunately, men like that, they have objectified women. Even their daughters, they objectify them because that's how the enemy broke them, and so they don't know how to counsel their daughters. They don't know what to say. Yeah, he's still on the couch. He's curled up, sleeping real good. Curled up. I was celibate with a boyfriend of mine. I wasn't planning on having sex, and it happened so fast. I regretted it instantly and told him to stop. Started crying because I felt so bad. Felt weird afterwards. Yeah, and a lot of times you got to remember the husband is the head of the home. Men are leaders. Men are leaders. Genuinely, wholeheartedly, men are leaders. Even when it comes to sexual activity, a man can lead. And so, because men typically can lead, a man can get a woman. If you're kissing him and you bring him in your house, you can forget it. You can forget it. If he's determined to have sex with you, it's probably going to end in a bad way. Men are leaders, and so they can go and do certain. They know how to get what they want if the woman doesn't have enough nose in her mouth and enough, what have you. If a woman is kissing the guy, and that's why I tell y'all, pull kissing off the table, pull kissing off the menu. You can when the pastor says you may now kiss the bride, then y'all kiss. But before that, hey, thank you for the registrations. For those of you who don't know, I'm gonna give a brief description, then I'm getting ready to close because um, I think we are. I'm sleepy. I can't even believe I'm sleepy at 2 a.m. But I can tell you this: when I get off of here, I'm probably gonna wake up. But yeah, it typically happens. So a lot of times a guy can lead in that type of thing. So like a guy can say, I don't understand this whole why I can't come to your house and you can't come to my house. That's that kind of stuff annoys me. I know you saved and I'm saved, but we grown people, we can. And so if he wears down my will in that area, and I say, okay, I tell you what, come on, because I don't feel like dealing with the argument, what have you. I let him come over. Then when he come over, I'm sitting on one end of the couch, he's sitting on the other end. Eventually, he'll come over like 5 times, maybe. Then one day he'll say, Tiffany, I don't get you. Um, you and I, we really like each other. We care for each other, or what have you. And I would never disrespect you. So I don't understand why you have to sit on that end of the couch. Anytime I come around, we can sit close to each other. So what he's doing is wearing down my will. So he's just wearing me down by nagging me. It's just like what Delilah did to Samson. So he keep nagging and nagging, and eventually I say, okay, then next thing I'm sitting next to him. Nothing's gonna happen for the first 3 to 5 times. For the first 3 to 5 times, it's gonna seem innocent because he's gonna be like, see, that's what I'm because he's trying to prove himself to me. That's what I'm talking about. You ain't gotta worry about that. Then one day, we'll be sitting up there. Maybe I got my head on him. We watching the movie and we laugh and what have you. Next thing you know, he kissed me. And I reason within my head, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Then he pulls back because he knows that if I keep going, she gonna be like, see, that's why I need you. That's why I want you in the house. He kiss me and what have you. Come over the next time, kiss again. Next thing you know, the kissing gets a little bit longer. Next thing you know, there's a tongue getting involved. It's gonna he will slowly wear me down until I finally found myself sitting up on the couch like, what just happened? Like I was just dressed. It was and then the next thing he'd be like, yeah, I don't know what happened. That was his plan from the jump. That was his plan from the jump. And so when people start nagging you, and I think there's somebody on here who needs to hear this, but when people start nagging you like that, that's a red flag. Well, I can't come over there because I said you can't. And so I said you can't. And that's why you can't come over here. If you got a problem with it, that's your problem. It ain't mine. And if he breaks it off with me because of that, James 4:7, submit yourself to God and resist the devil and he'll flee from you. That means that he wasn't the one. It means that the enemy was involved in that relationship. It was a demonic relationship. And the only way I was going to be able to keep him was to give a sin offering. And I'm just not going to do it. All right. Many even believe they're loved is sometimes obsession with you rejecting them. Right. Right. All right. I'm going to get off of here. I want to give you guys a description of the... Oh, awesome. Thanks so much, your knowledge. Thank you. Thank you. Definitely come check us out. And love to meet you, sis. Love to meet you. Yeah, they will wear you down. And that's why you have to have mentorship. When you say, hey, my boyfriend says, he needs to come to my house. And he gets really upset because I said he can't come over here. Then you need a mentor to tell you, this is how you answer him. Because it's clear at this point, and most mentors, we know that means that he's not the one. Because he's trying to wear down your will. Last question. No problem. I'm sorry, but I got to ask my friend, was kissing a guy when they were younger and ended up raped. They kissed and she threw up in the bathroom in between kisses. Is that common or normal? That's not common or normal. That's abnormal. But she threw up between kisses. Chances are the reason she threw up was because maybe she was inexperienced with sex or, kissing. I used to have a friend that she did not like kissing. She used to talk to me about it. She used to say, when a boy kissed her, it make her feel her stomach turn. Because the whole thing about tongues and saliva disgusted her. So if somebody's disgusted with tongues and saliva, then of course they're going to feel, it'll be easy for them to vomit. And so chances are she probably got disgusted by it. He could have had bad breath, which made it even worse. But then at the same time, it is a possibility that while in rape involves a lot of force. So when somebody's raping you or they're trying to rape you, a lot of times if they're kissing, they're gonna stick their tongue all the way down your throat. They'll just stick their tongue all the way up in there, and that could cause her to gag and to vomit or what have you. So 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee you it was one of those two events. Either she was disgusted by, tongues and saliva and, the whole thing of kissing, or he stuck his tongue too far down her throat, where she couldn't breathe or what have you. And that caused her to vomit. You're most welcome. All right, let me give you guys the descriptions of the packages because I know a lot of people were confused about them. Again, I want to give this and then I'm getting ready to go. I'm going to get so thank you for everybody who has registered so far. I am going to limit the seating in this. So make sure that you register for Esther Prep. Esther Prep is wifeable. For those of you who don't know, it is a wifeable mentorship. It is officially open right now. Wifeable mentorship is officially open. We are going to start. The official launch date is September 15th. However, September 1st, you will be able to go ahead and start filling out your profile, listening to messages, and even submitting homework. So you will be able to start on September 1st, should you choose to. If you, she was experienced, but he was forceful. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, he shoved his tongue down her throat. But if you are not familiar with Wifeable, Wifeable is going to be a mentorship where I'm going to be walking with women. I'm going to be teaching you. It is what it sounds like, wifeable. Not every woman is ever able to be wifed. And that's because some women have erroneous mindsets. Some women need deliverance. Some women are used to dwelling around at the bottom. My goal is to get you from here all the way up to level 5. My goal is to take you up in your thoughts, to take you up and to help you to find your own identity. And this is going to be a 1-year mentorship. There are 3 levels to the mentorship. Now, Wifeable was the initial concept. Now I have a greater vision. It is Esther Prep University. And what I mean by that, there is Wifeable in Esther Prep University. However, it won't just be limited to Wifeable. Now, you can just limit it and say, hey, I just want Wifeable. I don't want anything else. And that's fine. But Esther Prep University is I'm going to be walking with you and helping you to discover who you are as a person, your identity. I'm going to be teaching you, giving you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, not just about relationships with people, but your relationship with God, how to study the Bible. Basically, in this year, I'm going to teach you just about everything I can cram into your head and about everything I know. It's going to be 1 week. Every week, we're going to come together and we're going to teach. You're going to have a library of messages, depending on what you register for, that you can go and access at any given time. If you register for, we'll have group sessions for counseling, and we'll have quarterly deliverance sessions. But if you register for premium, which is intensive, we'll have one-on-one sessions every quarter with you. You'll get a Wifeable t-shirt and all of those things. And so it's going to be a whole lot that you're going to get in the Wifeable mentorship. You'll get a chance to speak with me. And for those of you who walk heavy in it, those of you who are committed, those of you who come into the program and you throw all caution to the wind and you get past all of the temptation to be mediocre, when you get past all of that, I'll be taking some people like I've done with a young mentee of mine now, and I bring them closer. And that means I bring them closer. That means I say, hey, I want to walk with you. I want to be your personal one-on-one straight up, because we're doing mentorship here, but this is going to be a new level of mentorship. I want to bring you closer. I want to help to develop you because I believe there's a gift, there's a call on your life, and I see you're not willing to throw it in the trash. And so I want to, I put the link, and I want you guys to go to the link, and I want to show you the different levels because we have some people that were confused, and I will make sure I post up a video so that I can describe it for those of you who are watching the replay video. And I'm going to try to rename them because I think that kind of confuses people. You'll notice that there are 3 packages, and there's the starter package, the standard package, and the premium package. And you'll notice that, of course, premium package is going to come with more. Premium package comes with access to 3 trade classes. I'm upgrading that to 5 trade classes. You can, write a book while you're in it. You can learn how to edit books, which is a career move of yours. There are a lot of things you can do if you got that one. But you can get any of the 3 packages that are listed on the website. Now, you'll notice that some of them say 3 months, 6 months, and this is where people were getting confused. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. The mentorship is 1 year in its entirety. The reason I chose to do 3 months is because I put 3 months, 6 months, 9 months is so that people can invest in what they can afford. I didn't want people to miss out on it because they couldn't afford to pay for a year or they couldn't afford to pay for 6 months. But I didn't want to undersell it by allowing 1 month, month to month registration. Because I know that's going to be a question for some people. Why don't you allow month to month? Yeah, I don't know why. I haven't seen your comment on Sister Betty, but the reason I don't allow month-to-month registration is because the only people who typically want to register for that are quitters. People who want to just come in and see what's happening. They want to just come in and look around, and then they want to get out of there after that. They feel like, well, I don't feel like you doing this for me, or I don't feel like you doing that for me, or what have you. They just want to come in and kind of just look. And so I'm not trying to have people in like that, because this right here is going to be an investment. This is you investing in your future. You're going to have to really want this. This has to be something that you make it up in your mind that I'm going to do. So, like I said, I didn't want to limit it. I didn't want it where some people can afford it. So I decided to make it where you can get in and just go ahead and pay for 3 months. And then at the end of the 3 months, you can pay 3 more months. But you are paying more if you pay that way. If you pay 3 months, you're gonna, whatever price you start off with, that's your price. So if you start off paying $149 for 3 months, that's great. But at the end of 3 months, you'll have to pay $149 again. But if you want to go to a different package, if you want to go ahead and pay out your year, you're committing yourself. And that's what you're doing with your brain. It's something about when you do that type of stuff, when you pay out a year, you're committing your brain to it. So you're telling your brain, I just paid all this money for this, so I have to be in this and I can't quit. I can't quit because there are no refunds. So I can't quit. I ain't gonna be able to give up. I've made an investment, so I'm gonna have to do this. And this is how I do myself. I'm giving you guys wisdom. This is how I do myself. I commit myself, even though my emotions say no. Even though my fears, I can sit up there and feel it, like I feel scared. I feel I'm not sure if I'm sure, or what have you. I commit myself. When I know it's something that I need, I'll go ahead and commit myself to it, even though I'm, kind of shaking or I'm a little unsure or what have you. If I know it's something I need, I'm like, man, I've always wanted that. But man, there are 2 things that pulls me in that moment. One, I'm scared because now I got to deal with change, because now I'm going to be thrust into change. And then 2, it costs me something. So I'm being required to make a sacrifice. And so in that, I have to decide whether or not I'm willing to make that sacrifice. So I want to admonish you, make the sacrifice, and do this for yourself. Do this for your future children. Do this, not just do it for your family. Do it for your little sister, your little sister who has dealt with generational curses. What have you? Do it for the folks in your family who don't know how to get free from that. So if I purchase 6 months and after the 6 months I want to purchase the last 6 months, I am able to do so. Yes. And so that's what Esther Academy, all of them are Esther Academy. They're just different levels. So what you'll notice is the first level, like under starter, and I'm going to make sure I rename them so they're not so confusing. But under starter, you'll notice that it's classroom access, message board access, and group counseling. But then when you go to the standard package, you get more. Standard, you get mentorship, classroom access, message board access, group counseling, EPU library. That's going to be a library of stuff, and wifeable ebook. So you'll be one of the authors in the wifeable ebook, because every month you'll have an assignment to write a small article detailing your month. What did you do that month? How did you feel that month? What were your struggles that month? And this is what we're doing is we're creating a tool for other women to glean behind us. So you guys are going to be pilots or pioneers. You're going to be creating something that's new. You're creating. This is going to be a book. I want y'all to hear me. It's going to be on. It's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be on iTunes. It's going to be all over. But this is a book we're going to write together. That you'll say, hey, this month was really hard. I found myself. There was a guy looking at me, and I was really interested in him. You're writing about your journey. This is the standard, and so the standard and the premium is going to be, you'll be involved in Wifeable ebook, and you'll have access to a trade class of your choice. So if you want to write a book, and access to a trade class don't mean you're mandated to take it. You can take a trade class of your choice, and the trade class is if you want to write a book. I have a 5-week course on that. If you want to learn to edit books, I have a 5-week course, so you can choose whichever one of those, and you can go on the academy and see the trade. And then the premium gives you the ability to have all of that. Plus, you get a Wifeable t-shirt. You get access to 3 trade classes. It's going to be 5. I got to go back and change that. One-on-one session quarterly, where I'll be talking to you with you personally, one-on-one quarterly. So yes, you can come back after 6 months. And that's what a lot of people are doing. So far, most people that I've seen register have, let me see. Yeah, they're getting 6 months. Most people that are registered so far are doing 6 months. And so they just come in and they just register for 6 months. And then likely at the end of 6 months, they'll pay out the other 6 months. So if I purchase the 6 months, yes. So definitely, which plan is the Esther Academy under? When does the Book of Boundaries come out? Probably in a month. I'm getting them edited right now. Yeah, I'm getting part 3 edited. It should be done by now. And once I get part 3 finished, then I have to go back through it myself. I'm going to do a proofread, and I'm probably going to send them again to get them proofread again. And then after that, I can go ahead and start formatting and uploading them. And so you guys would be authors. If you get in standard, or if you get in intensive, you will be featured in Anointed Fire magazine in some cases. I will push you to start create a card game. I'm going to show you how to do a lot of stuff. By the time you come out of this mentorship, you will have products on shelves, and that's one of my things. My goal is to raise you up in the marketplace as well. I want y'all to hear me. This is why some people haven't registered, because they just want to hear about a man. They just want to hear about a man. No, I'm going to be I'm going to be teaching you, giving you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but I'm also going to help to raise you up in the marketplace. My goal is to raise you up in the marketplace. Am I still needing editors? Yes. Send me an email at info@anointedfire.com. I'll post it here. Yeah. So, and send me pricing, or if you're volunteering, let me know, just let me know. All right, I'm going to get ready to close. If you guys have any questions about the Wifeable mentorship, which is Esther Prep University, let me know. If you're watching a replay video, just leave me a comment and I'll address your questions the next time I go live. If you can email me as well, if you have a question, make sure it's a legitimate question, guys. If you email me, don't email me a question that I've already answered just to start some type of dialogue. But I want to get as many of you guys in here as possible. I think what I'm going to do is cap it at 50. I think I'm going to cap it at 50. I think I'm going to allow 50. I may be wrong. I'm not going to say that for sure, but I'm thinking about capping it at 50. But I'll see. So make sure that you're registering for it. I'm going to get ready to get off of here right now. I love y'all, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.